person, you're watching True Heel Heat. Yes, it is I, Holly Cameron, and I'm in your phones, but I'm also making an appearance on True Heel Heat. I've been told it's a fantastic podcast. Why haven't you had me on it, huh? Where's my invitation? I think you guys need to feel the wrath. I'm at Comic-Con today, but I think we need to get some, some wrath in the show. So let me know.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for our NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 20 review, breaking down yesterday's morning show, one of the biggest events ever at the Tokyo Dome, as Hiroshi Tanahashi has retired in one of the greatest retirement matches and ceremonies you will ever see. We're here to talk all about it with you. And of course, to do that, I am joined by my esteemed colleague. He is the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. It is your boy, J-News. How are you doing, J-News?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. The only hiccup in the jig is that my sleep has been thrown off completely. So now, which is why I usually don't like to watch New Japan shows live. But like I told you the other night, Wrestle Kingdom is usually the only New Japan show that I watch live during the year. And it was worth the watching of the live, obviously. But I will also have some critiques about some things that came to mind while I was watching the show. But yeah, man, I'm here. I'm ready, and we should be getting to it.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. You could drop a thumbs up on this video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. You could share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You could also sound off in the comment section if you're watching us on demand. Let us know what you thought about Wrestle Kingdom 20 and all the big ramifications that came from this morning's New Year's Dash, because we will be talking about that on today's show for sure. You can also sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys, hear your thoughts on what happened yesterday morning in the Tokyo Dome, one of the biggest events ever for New Japan Pro Wrestling, one of the most memorable events ever for New Japan Pro Wrestling. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts. So we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to get back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel and our continued coverage of New Japan Pro Wrestling as only we can here, you can do so with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. We got our first super chat donation here from Valop in the chat. Thank you so much, Valop, for the support. He says, every now and again, I get down and cynical about pro wrestling, but then we get something magical like Tada's retirement that reminds me I can never walk away from this sport. I literally messaged something like this to the Daily Boys, Sat E. Nyengi and Alex McCarthy yesterday after I was done with the post show over on Fightful. Shout outs to everybody who checked it out. It's got some good reviews over on the Fightful main channel, some good feedback over there from me and Lyric with our post show over on Fightful. So appreciate anyone who showed their support over there, especially Valop. I saw him in the chat. But yeah, this is what I wrote to the Daily Boys. I wrote to Sat and Alex after that review, and I was like, y'all guys need to watch that Tanahashi retirement matchup and the ceremony. It will make you fall in love with wrestling. It will make you remember why you fell in love with pro wrestling.
Man, I cannot disagree with what Volib has to say, right? All in all, the celebration of a career, a man that helped turn around an entire wrestling promotion. From the depths of where it was to the heights of where it got to just 10 years ago, and to where it is now, more or less at a decent pace and stature as to where it is, even though a lot of us have our fair share of critiques about things being better and all that stuff. He's trying his best, as we know. I feel like what they gave us was nothing short of amazing from a match standpoint, from a celebration standpoint, and Tanahashi-san should be celebrated in life and thereafter, whenever that comes at the end of the day. So, man, what a finale to the night, and sharing the sentiments of the majority of the wrestling world. Seeing that all over social media the last 24 to 36 hours has been cool. Not only from wrestlers from the Japanese landscape, but also from the American landscape and so forth. So you can see just how loved Tana was and is across the wrestling industry, and it was definitely a great moment in time, which is something we don't get to say a lot about wrestling shows, especially here in the West. So just wanted to echo those sentiments with that Volib said and things of that nature.
But we also have to be joined by the third member of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions of Talking New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's our life It's Sonal's life. Sonal is here. How are you doing, Sonal? Just 24 hours after you were probably crying.
You know, there was a lot of tears. I was listening in because what you guys were just saying, and it's like, I've always loved pro wrestling, New Japan. I've always been positive, but yeah, there are certain moments like Tanahashi's retirement and the match, and the show in general actually was all right. Like, it was like like we'll speak about the one that we were really worried about surpassed all expectations, and it just felt like watching Tanahashi and all guys. You know, if you would have been there when Jay White's music hit, I'm sorry.
I went ballistic. I was like, I have there's a voice note. I think I have the voice note that I sent to the True Hill Heat chat, because I think it was me and Romeo were watching the show live, and I lost it for Switchblade. So I expect you did as well, Sonal.
That's if anyone doesn't know, you'll see he's still there. There's like 3 pictures of all the times I've met Jay. Yeah, like I was already emotional, but I think as soon as that music hit, that's when the tears came. I was like, because obviously we've not seen Jay for ages. I like held out hope that he was going to be okay for AEW in Manchester, but he wasn't. But particularly for me, because the feud between Jay and Tanahashi was always so important to me. And then if anyone remembers on Jay's final match with like the fist bump with Tanahashi and the fact he came back and then he was hugging, I was like, well, I was literally like, someone tell 2018 Sonal that this is actually happening, because she's not going to believe her eyes. And I just think New Japan did everything. It couldn't have been any better. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
We
had expectations, but like, yeah.
Wait, let me play it again. Oh, I got to turn up the volume. That was me at like 5 a.m. in the morning. That's now gonna be my what I play anytime I see Jay White. Switchblade.
I even woke up this morning and the first thing I saw on my Twitter was Jay's post, and I was like, Mom, Jay, how is it? It's been like, because I guess it's been like 2-3 years since he's left. 3 years, I guess. And I was like, Jay still does it to me, and obviously from a me standpoint, he looks very handsome. So that's from a me standpoint.
But we got a couple of more people in the chat. We got someone who was in the building at the Tokyo Dome. We got Manish, who says, hey, I'll be in bed when this stream begins. I was privileged to have been there. I am not overly emotional, but I nearly cried during the retirement ceremony. I don't think that type of unfiltered adulation will be witnessed at a wrestling event in my lifetime. It washed over the entire dome. Also, the pop Aaron Wolf's victory achieved was amazing. The placid Japanese gentleman in my row suddenly lost it and aggressively gave me a thumbs up. The entire place erupted. Yeah, like the stuff that we were worried about overexceeded expectations. The Tada retirement was about as good or as perfect as you can actually imagine. And the semi-main event, like work rate wise, probably was the best thing on the show. So yeah, and then the women showed out. So like those notes of the show, I think made the show great. I know you said it was all right, but I think overall, I think at the end of the show, I was like saying to myself, "This was a great show." Overall.
No,
I have my problems. I have my problems with Gato's booking, but overall, the show was great.
I think actually the only issue I had, and I think it's an issue that everyone has, it was the junior match. Because I know, right? Like this is going to be controversial. I really enjoyed the Ranbo, except the camera work. I didn't like the camera work on the Ranbo because I didn't like because it was every minute. When the entrances were on, and obviously if you have the likes of Ishii taking about 30 minutes to walk down to the ring, you end up missing a lot. But controversially, I even enjoyed that match. So it was literally
that was a clusterfuck to me.
But. So since you guys since you opened the gates here, Sonal, let me go ahead and say my piece. I'm with SP3. I thought the show was very good, but I had my critiques with Gato's booking. Gato's booking was part of the issue, has been part of the issue for years now, right? So when the show started, let me talk about the pre-show first and foremost. Chris Brookes stood out That's what I wanted to see. That's how it went down. ELP retained, but I wish to see Chris Brookes again on New Japan soil. That young man is talented, and for all intents and purposes, right or wrong, New Japan needs more gaijins. So hey, why the hell not at this point? There's that. I
didn't need the DDT shenanigans, but we're gonna get into like match by match. We're gonna get into match by match.
Bit. If you ever watched the DDT show, you'll know that they had to have those.
We've established. I don't watch DDT. I don't need it in my New Japan.
But to say one last thing before we get on with the show, the production thing that you were talking about during the 6-man Ranbo, Sonal, for the production value overall of the show, I thought was fantastic. Mm-hmm. To your point, that match just made it feel like a clusterfuck, though, for me. So I was just not into it as much as I could have been, and that was a production thing. And then we'll get into why I felt a certain way about some of Gato's booking decisions. So,
but
yeah.
I think actually, like, I fully agree with what you're saying. I think, like I said, I even going into this, I was obviously more hyped on this match than a lot of other people, just because it had all my favorites in and stuff like that. But and actually, J-News, you were being much nicer than a lot of people on the internet were about that match. So thank you, because like I said, I did enjoy it. The start was specifically quite stressful just because it's like there was an entrance and then it was sweeping, which is again production. But I mean, when it comes to Rambos, it's always clusterfuck. And again, like I'm gonna emphasize this, one of the reasons that it was probably on the main show, not the pre-show, was Takeshi, the Exile Tribe. Yes, he wasn't in it for long, but if you saw what they did, and again, it's similar to Aaron Wolf. Unless you're in Japan, you're not really going to understand, or within the spheres of J-pop, you're not going to understand how big it was having not just Takeshi there, but all of just all of Exile Tribe there. Just
they had another J-pop guy on commentary during the match. Right?
Yeah.
No. So a lot of comments in the chat. People are gatekeeping Aaron Wolf now. Mr. Town saying Aaron Wolf did a very good job in his first matchup. We're going to get into that for sure. We're supposed to have a special guest joining us, but we'll see whenever they show up. They're on the West Coast, so I'll excuse them for that. But we're not even going to start from the beginning on this show. You know what we're doing? We're switching things up. We're starting from the end because I think that we have to talk about Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement matchup with Kazuchika Okada. And yeah, we're just going to start right there. So before we do that, give us as we'll start off every review. We'll start with Sonal. Give me one word, one phrase to give your overall thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom 20.
Thank you, New Japan.
J-News.
Oh man. One phrase. Yeah, man. I'm gonna echo Sonal's sentiments here, but instead of thank you, New Japan, thank you to the Ace. There's no way around it. Yeah, man. I had the privilege of watching the majority of his career, be it just by streaming or DVDs and things of that nature. He turned me back around on Japanese wrestling when I was really, really down on it, in the 2010s. And, what a way to go out. I said this about, Sumi Sakai's retirement here for New Japan Strong back when it happened last year. And Japanese wrestling just gets it right, man. They just get it right. And I am going to say this because it makes all the sense in the world. Tana still lost and no one cared.
No one cared. And that proved my point from the John Cena retirement, because everybody and their mama was like, oh no, they're upset because he lost. No, they're upset because the retirement tour sucked. And thus they wanted him to win so badly. This one, the retirement tour was so well done that yes, the people in the building wanted to see Tanahashi win, but when he didn't, they did not care.
So there was this user on Twitter who's been gaining attention, because they were tweeting like, oh, so we're allowed to critique the WWE, John Cena, but
that is Wrestle Votes, and they got properly demolished for
I
that
saw
stupidness.
that. Because everyone was like, they literally had like tweeted one thing in the past like 7 years about New Japan. But that's what, to your point, SP3, is that it's not just obviously how they did the Tokyo Dome. As you mentioned, it's the entire year that Tanahashi has had. The way they've set it, where they've had him beat people, but they've had people beat him. New Japan have set a precedent for the entire year was done properly, which meant that, yes, okay, some of us were like, damn it, we would have liked Tanahashi to win. But everything was done correctly. From even the way that Okada won, his music got played, but he was like, but it wasn't about him even then. The music got cut short, he said his bit, and then he quickly left. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything was done in a way that, yeah, you can feel bittersweet about Tanahashi not winning, but actually, on the grand scale of things, we're not going to remember that. That's not going to be the bit that stands out to us. Whereas, I mean, again, I don't watch WWE, but for the Cena thing, just because of how it had gone, you're going to remember that loss and how it was done.
So I want to mention one thing, because like SP3 said, it had nothing to do with him winning or losing, right? Tana, his motto during his entire career was that he never got tired, right? And at the end of this match, he got pinned. He went all out in this match. All out in this match.
Over 30 minutes.
Over 30 minutes. They didn't break Tana's character a minute on this screen. Not with the finish and not with the way he wrestled. And with bad knees and all, he took us to a place that he continuously takes wrestling fans through emotional rides and wrestling shows and things of that nature. That's why, to me, when a wrestler is as beloved as a John Cena or a Tanahashi and things of that nature, they should get to do what they want on their way out. And they should be celebrated as such, like Tanahashi was. And like I said, him losing made no difference to anybody because he gave us classic Tanahashi, right? And that, to me, is the most important thing. He didn't give up. He got beat. End of freaking story. He didn't get tired until he was backstage during the post comments, and then he finally said he was tired after it was all said and done. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that, to me, the idea about it, it's like people just don't like to wrap their minds around certain concepts and stuff like that. And it's like, man, you don't get this shit at all, do you? You know what I'm saying? And like Japanese wrestling and the way they do retirements, and they got Tana's retirement right. They just got it right. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Well, you know what, you were saying this, J-News, of how like Tanahashi went full, but I'm gonna give this props to Okada. Tanahashi got beaten by the proper Okada. Okay, right. Okada would started doing like this thing, but we ended. But it would, for me, it would have been a bit sweet if we had interference and cheating and a shit Okada. But it's the fact that Tanahashi, like you said, he didn't tie. He did 30 minutes against the Elite Rainmaker, against the New Japan Rainmaker. Do you know what I mean? Like, they easily could have, because I know a lot of people worried that this show was going to be used to push an AEW agenda. I knew that was never going to happen. They were not going to do that for Tanahashi. But Okada, I mean, I did joke, I was like, at the end of it, Tanahashi still being unselfish, and Okada still being selfish with the win. But actually, you know what? Okada played his part perfectly. Like, Okada,
he was the perfect foil for Tanahashi. Like I said, I said this on the preview. I will say it here again. This was not going to be as good if it was Nakamura. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He should have been there for the retirement. Don't get me wrong. And for anyone who wants to say, "Oh, wrestling politics," want to ride the fence and be like, "Oh, you know, wrestling politics sucks that it couldn't get." No, it's fucking WWE. Stop. Stop.
Yeah,
stop trying to make it. Stop trying to make this a wider thing, saying, "Oh, it's because of the WWE AEW rivalry, and why would WWE do anything for AEW and Tony Khan because Tony Khan attacks them?" You are a fucking idiot for saying that.
Can I say two words?
That it's WWE. WWE has never played ball with anyone unless they are benefiting from it.
Can I say two words that hits back at that? Kota Ibushi.
Exactly.
Kota Ibushi was there, and if anyone doesn't know or does know, the shit that happened between New Japan and Kota Ibushi when he left, but Ibushi could still be there. So sorry, especially when it comes to Tanahashi, they would have been with like New Japan again. I don't think it's the same. New Japan would have happily accepted Nakamura back, like they accepted. I mean, I bet you people in the office were like, "Oh, Kota Ibushi," because again,
Ibushi, Shibata, Naito, all these guys left on some bad terms.
But they like it was as cute as like Naito saying when he came out, he was like, "I never thought I'd be able to be in this ring ever again, but you allowed me to." And that's the thing, you know what? Yes, politics and wrestling is a thing, but if it comes to someone like Tanahashi, they would do anything for him. So yeah, no, it's not a wrestling politics thing, it's a WWE politics thing. Because
Tony Khan is not gonna say, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't have Nakamura there." Tony Khan is not gonna say that. Because he wouldn't have gave freaking three of his 4 top stars in the company wouldn't be a part of the retirement ceremony if that was the case. But I wanted to answer this. I did react to this with it when J-News was talking, and I apologize because you did say you don't watch much New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Dion says, "What's up, y'all? Don't watch much NJPW, but would Tada and Okada be comparable to Cena and Orton for NJPW? Fuck no. That is my answer." Fuck no. Cena and Orton is the most overrated rivalry in the history of WWE. They just faced each other a lot of times. The best time of their rivalry was the 3 months in 2007, and then they overused that rivalry for the next fucking 10 years. That is the wrong comparison. The best comparison is Jim Ross. Jim Ross said it best when he first commentated over Tanahashi and Okada back in 2015 in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. He said the best comparison to Tada and Okada, if you're a WWE fan, if you're a Western fan, is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. That it is iconic. It is a guy who is the veteran who's been the face of the company, and the other guy who basically got passed the torch and got made because of the other guy. Austin and Rock is the best comparison if you want a WWE comparison to what New Japan, Tada, and Okada is.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there. I will say this about the Nakamura thing, right? And he was, for all intents and purposes, the wrestlers made sure his presence was felt that night because they knew what was going on. Takeshita was one of them, and so was the Ace at the end of the day. I agree with SP3. I feel like he should have at least been backstage. There's always going to be conversations online about, like you said, people straddling the fence, other people taking it to the other extreme, talking about, no, it's not WWE's fault, it's Tony Khan's fault, all this other stuff or whatever the case is. Like SP3 says, SP3 said, WWE's never played ball in this instance. Let's be serious. We talked about Naito, not let's be serious, but to give you a grander concept. Yes, they let Ibushi with a broken femur come down to the ring with Kenny Omega after his issues with New Japan. We talked about Naito and we talked about everything else. They broke kayfabe.
I was gonna
Jay White.
SP3 said did the comment. I was literally gonna say they brought Jay White back to Japan for the first time. For not only is the man injured, the man is meant to be banned from Japan and New Japan, but they brought him back.
Like, come on, man. This to me, it's like if you're gonna do things of that note, right? You're breaking kayfabe. You're bringing back all these wrestling dignitaries and stuff like that. And yeah, I miss me with the whole, it's Tony Khan's fault or people straddling the line or whatever the case is. I said it myself because I was speaking for myself last time when we did the preview. I wish it was Nakamura in the match. I understand from a match quality standpoint, it's not. It's something different or whatever the case is, from a sentimental reason, right? And for him not to be there was a big deal for me, right?
Did you hear about the whole story?
Yes, unfortunately.
So to just get it out here. So the whole story goes, basically, New Japan and WWE had a conversation about this. Mm-hmm. This was back in the spring of last year when Jeff Cobb got let out of his New Japan deal early When Jeff Cobb was supposed to face Hiroki Goto and Dontaku for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, apparently New Japan and WWE had a conversation. New Japan let Jeff Cobb out of his contract early. This was at the same time that Nakamura was asking for his release from WWE because he did not think it was possible for him to be under WWE contract and work the Wrestle Kingdom show. So when Nakamura wrestled the matches in Japan in the fall of 2025, that was really supposed to be his farewell. He's going to do the farewell WWE house shows in Japan. He actually met up with Tanahashi to make plans for them to do the matchup, but WWE did not want to let him out of his contract. They were still going to try to work something out for him to wrestle the matchup, but WWE was just making this completely difficult for New Japan to do. So they had to reverse course and have to find another option for him to do. So Nakamura wanted to do it. Tanahashi wanted to do it. New Japan wanted to do it. But WWE got what they wanted. They got one of the stars from New Japan to come early, where they've used Jeff Cobb the way they've used Jeff Cobb. I'm just saying. But they did that. They got what they wanted, but they didn't want to let Nakamura out of his deal. They didn't want to benefit New Japan, who's a partner of AEW.
But I saw WWE sent flowers, though. Like, that's what's even...
No, Nakamura sent flowers.
No, was it? 'Cause I saw it said...
Let's
Nakamura. It said Nakamura of WWE. That's Nakamura sending flowers.
Yes. Shinsuke sent flowers. And like I said, the talents themselves, the WWE talents themselves, those who have connections to Tanahashi, they did well to post things on social media and things of that nature. And even freaking Jonah, man, who spent a minimal amount of time,
like 4 shows or something.
So it's one of those things. But what I wanted to say was, with everything that SP3 mentioned, dude, New Japan went out of their way. They extended the olive branch by letting Jeff Cobb out of his contract early. And they still get screwed in the end by this shit. That to me, it just shows you Big Man Dogs. Russell Reed's a bit of a mark. He is. So it's what it is. But to finish my thought at the end of the day, yeah, man, when it comes to things like this, I mean, WWE's shown you countless times when Sting retired on AEW side with the whole Lex Luger Legends deal thing and how he couldn't appear for Sting's last match. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? What is this? A Legends deal holds that shit up? Man, miss me with that shit, man. Miss me with all that shit.
King Gray brings up Tony Khan was willing to let Billy Gunn show up for the DX reunion. He damn sure wouldn't politic to keep Nakamura away from Tanahashi's retirement. No, that's just false. And that's, if you want to ride the fence and say, oh, wrestling politics, and don't want to point the finger at either company, you're doing it wrong. You're basically telling everybody that you are in support of WWE and their nonsense if you're not willing to acknowledge it. But let's get into it. We're switching things up. Before we do that, we got Dolores in the chat, who has been a member of the channel for 26 months. Thank you so much, Dolores, for all the support. And I know you and J-News are doing great stuff with the podcast. So definitely support Dolores as well as J-News when he's not even on True Hill Heat, and he's doing his podcast with Dolores every Sunday. Check those out. But let's get into Wrestle Kingdom, and we're switching things up because we're starting right from the main event, because it was Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement matchup. We should mention Okada came out to his AEW theme, Curiosity, which I love that theme song. Can I just say that theme song is a banger? So he came out and it was official with the theme song and everything. It was like, this is AEW Okada, despite Gato being in his corner. Early on in the matchup, we get a very cocky Okada. We get our first drop kick from Okada with Tanahashi sitting on the top rope. Okada then follows him to the floor, sends the ace into the guardrail, booting him over the guardrail, and then he follows up with the Hangman's DDT onto the floor. Tada then hits back in the ring. He hits a flying forearm. Then he starts hitting some of his signature moves. He goes for the second rope senton and gets his first 2 count. Okada throws Tanahashi over the top rope, but Tanahashi skins the cat, even with his bad knees at his age. He comes back in, he catches a boot, and then he hits his first dragon screw leg whip. He goes for a second dragon screw leg whip, and then he goes for the Texas Cloverleaf, but Okada rakes his eyes. We get a drop kick to the knee. I did love commentary. They did a really good job throughout the entire show, but especially in this matchup, explaining the psychology of the matchup, why Tanahashi was going after Okada's knees. It wasn't really to set up the Texas Cloverleaf or submission. It was to make sure Okada was down on the mat for when Tanahashi climbs up to the top rope for high fly flow, because it's going to take him so long to get to the top rope and to settle. He needs Okada to be worn down and his knees to be worked over so he could stay down on the mat. That was great psychology, a bit of psychology from the commentary team. But we got our first high fly flow because this man is a maniac. He does the high fly attack from the top rope to the floor on Okada, and that was the first time that I was like, okay, he's balling out. He's gonna ball out for this one. He's leaving it all in the ring. Tada then comes in. He tries to go for the sling blade. They kept teasing the sling blade numerous times in the matchup, but Okada would reverse. He hit a flapjack and then followed up with a air raid crash neck breaker. Okada then slams Tada, and then he heads up top and he hits the dropping elbow drop, which is much different from the regular flying elbow drop that we used to see from Okada in New Japan. And that's key to this matchup of what we would see later, because he does the dropping elbow drop and then he does the Rainmaker flip off foes, flipping off the crowd. And this gets some of the biggest boos of the entire night. Okada then goes for the Rainmaker, but Tada's able to hit some elbows, and then he hits 3 twists and shouts. Okada then reverses the sling blade into a tombstone, dropping the ace right on his neck again. Okada then follows with a shotgun dropkick, sending Tada to the floor. Okada then brings him up the ramp and hits a tombstone on the ramp. The crowd is cheering and begging for Tada to get back up, get back into the ring. He makes it just before the countout at 20, comes in at 19. Okada then hits a third tombstone, this time the twisting version. He covers Tanahashi, but he lifts his shoulder up. He lifts him up at 2. That gets some big boos from the crowd. Okada then hits the discus Rainmaker, and then he goes for the cover, and he lifts Tada up again at 2 to more boos from the crowd. Tada then blocks a Rainmaker with some slaps, but Okada no-sells it and then hits his lariat. He hits a second lariat. He then sets up for the Rainmaker, but Tada reverses and hits the Ace Maker. We get a series of reversal that ends with Okada finally hitting the Rainmaker, and he gets the 1, the 2, but Tada gets his shoulder a big pop from the crowd. Okada then applies a Boston Crab, taking Tanahashi back to his young lion days. Tada then fights, and he gets to the ropes. Another big pop from the crowd. We get Tanahashi chants echoing across the dome. Okada taunts Tanahashi with stomps to the back of the head. Then he hits a picture-perfect drop kick. He goes for the Rainmaker again, but Tada dodges and finally hits the sling blade. Both men are down. Tada then busts out a sleeper into the PK, the Shibata tribute, and then this man starts doing the Nakamura mannerisms, which got a huge pop from the crowd. He goes in the corner, he does the yay yo, and then he hits the Bombay yay. He heads up top, and we get the high fly flow 1, 2, but Okada kicks out at 2.99. Tanahashi goes for this time. He tries to go for a sling blade, but Okada tries to go for the Rainmaker, but Tada reverses out of the Rainmaker into a sling blade. He then follows with a beautiful dragon suplex. He gets a close 2 count on that. He goes up top again. He goes for the high fly flow on the back. Then he goes back up with Okada on his back. He goes for the high fly flow, the 4th of the matchup, but Okada gets his knees up. They trade forearms from the knees. Then they get to their feet and they're exchanging some more. Tada fires up with a forearm from Okada. Now we get some uppercuts from Okada. Okada ends the exchange with a beautiful drop kick and quieting the crowd a bit. Tada blocks the tombstone and then gets him up for one of his own, but Okada reverses it into a Destino, and he does the Naito pose. He then picks him up. He hits Cobra Flosion. Then he picks him up again. He hits a second Rainmaker. 1, 2. Tada gets his shoulder up at 2.99. Tada struggles to his feet, using Okada to get up. And this is when Okada just says, you know what? Fuck it. I need to tap in to the old me. He slams Tanahashi down. He heads up top. He hits a proper flying elbow drop. I'm literally yelling at my screen at this point saying, he jumped. He actually jumped on the elbow drop. He jumped. And he gets up. And I was like, oh no, is he about to do it? Is he about to do it for the first time in 2 years? No middle finger. We get the proper Rainmaker pose with the zoom out. First time in 2 years. He picks him up. You can see the emotion. He's almost in tears as he picks up Tanahashi. He delivers a third Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3. Okada has defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi in his retirement matchup. And I just wrote in my notes, this was the perfect retirement matchup. In old school wrestling, the guy who's on their way out, the guy that's leaving the territory, the guy that's ending their career should be the one who's looking up at the lights. But you gotta give the people that story, that drama. And this is what it had. It had everything you could want. You got an all-time great babyface performance from Tanahashi, who rolled back the clock and just brought out everything that he could. Okada was the perfect foil for him, playing the heel early on, the AEW character that has become one of the best characters in the entire company. And then you have Okada, who just had to basically tap into his old self, tap into the fighting spirit, tap into the New Japan main eventer, the big match Okada. The pacing was beautiful. It escalated at the right time. I gave this match 5+ stars. This is one of the greatest retirement matches of all time. This is one of the greatest Tokyo Dome main events of all time. You had Dave Meltzer out here. He's calling it one of the greatest pro wrestling matches of all time. But the story, the drama, the emotion, the fighting spirit, the passion of Okada and Tanahashi, this rivalry that has defined New Japan Pro Wrestling for the last 13 years, it all culminated in this matchup. The callbacks, the tributes to their past opponents and peers during their rise, like Okada busting out a Destino, Tanahashi busting out the PK and the Bombardier. This was beautiful pro wrestling. It is a perfect retirement matchup. 5+ stars. One of the greatest matches that I've seen in the Tokyo Dome. Sonal, what did you think? Okada, Tanahashi, the main event of Wrestle Kingdom.
You gave it 5+ stars. I gave it 100 stars. Okay, because I can tell you by the end of it, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Okay, my heart was pounding out for the semi-main event, and then by this main event, I thought I was ready to I was like, I can end it now. I'm happy. It was beautiful. I said this to my dad because it obviously started quite early, but by the time it finished, everyone was awake in the house, and they did the 25-minute call, and I looked at my dad and I went, shit, I thought it had only been 10 minutes. And he was like, And I was like, you need to understand that as a pro wrestling fan, the biggest compliment a match can have is that it gets to a longer time and you don't think it is.
Yeah.
That is the biggest compliment. And the fact they went 25 minutes because when you get to longer matches, sometimes you get bored. But the fact I was on my edge of my seat this entire one showed how well it was done. And we mentioned this at the start. With what J-News said, is that Tanahashi gave everything. I mean, I was concerned. I did think with those high fly blows, Tana, I know you're retiring, but you do still need your knees for your regular life.
He's like, who needs these knees? I don't need
I'm
them.
gonna get a wheelchair. But everything was done so well. Again, I can't underestimate how well Okada did as well. Obviously, Okada got some chance as well, at the end of the match. I get it, the Nakamura thing, but only these two could. And you know what? I don't normally agree much with Dave Meltzer, but yeah, out of all the Wrestle Kingdoms I've watched, again, it wasn't the best technically, but as a pro wrestling match in general, it's one of the best because, and people forget, yes, New Japan isn't sports entertainment, but it's still about the story. But the story's told in the ring, and Okada did one appearance with Tanahashi when he got announced, and then he did the press conference. there wasn't much build around it in terms of, like you know how like on Road to shows you get that. Okada wasn't on any of them, but they told the perfect story of not just 25 plus years of Tanahashi, but 15 plus years of Tanahashi and Okada in 30 minutes. And again, as we'll keep reiterating, we were upset that Tanahashi lost because we wanted him to win, but none of that mattered. Like, at the end of the day, nobody gave a shit about it because it was done in the perfect way. And yeah, I don't, like, as a comment said, I don't tend to get emotional, but wrestling can bring stuff out of me. And this is a moment that I will never, I mean, I wasn't even there. I wasn't there in the building, but it's a moment that people are going to say, what's one of the most impactful wrestling memories you've had? And I'll say, Tanahashi's final match.
Yeah, this set the bar so high for match of the year, because like I think I was talking to Lyric on the post show on Fightful, and she was like, we hadn't had a matchup on a Wrestle Kingdom card that set the bar so high for the rest of the year since Omega and Ospreay in 2023. That set the bar so high that only really Omega and Ospreay 2 could even like have an argument to take that spot. So J-News, what did you think? Okada, Tada, the final time here.
I think that I share everybody's sentiments, but I wanted to go out of my way to express something to the larger landscape of wrestling fans who believe that stories can only be told one way, and that's on a microphone. I will gatekeep this to hell. You don't know ball if you can't understand what a story being told in the ring is like. That is what professional wrestling is. Not talking on the mic for 20 minutes, not going head to head, microphone to microphone with one guy facing another. That's not what professional wrestling is. Professional wrestling is being able to tell a story with your body inside a squared circle and making the people beyond those ropes and that ring believe what it is that's going on in there and help them emote. That is what happened at Wrestle Kingdom 20. That is professional wrestling in its purest form. And that is what New Japan Pro Wrestling is about. They gave you, the fan, the person watching, not only in the arena, but at home, like all of us, they gave us something to hold on to. Because pro wrestling still exists in its purest form. We just have to go out there and seek it. And for those of us who only know one particular product, this is why I say to folks, it's not a WWE thing. It's a pro wrestling thing. Go out and seek different shit. Just go out and seek different stuff. New Japan Pro Wrestling gave you another level of what pro wrestling can be in different iterations. And we're just talking about a retirement match here, right? Because we still got the semi-main to go. We got the ladies match to go at the end of the day, right? And, you know, it's just, man, and for everyone, and for like the old timers who always talk about like the new guys doing too many moves and dudes don't know how to do storytelling and it's lost and da-da-da-da-da. Well, obviously the veterans are going to show you how it's done, right? So stop critiquing these motherfuckers and teach them, right? So for all intents and purposes, watch these kinds of matches because they deserve to be watched and they deserve to be admired. And while I was sitting there watching this match, that's all that came to mind. I was just admiring what was being done. I've been watching pro wrestling for 30 plus years. And for a match like this, for me to be able to watch it at home and me to get emotionally involved, and it's like, yeah, like Mr. Shouts to Mr. Honda in the chat.
Dude, I said this earlier. Yo, like I got lost. I became a kid again.
Yes.
I became 8 years old, and I was just rooting for Tanahashi. I just kept tweeting. Keep fighting, Ace. Keep going. One more high fly flow. I was like, just give me one more high fly flow. Go up there one more time. I got lost in the matchup. I stopped being like an analyst, and like at one point I had to go back and watch some stuff to get these notes down for today's review because I just got lost in the matchup and I was just rooting for Tanahashi.
Yeah, man, and I think that's also another another piece of it all, right? I think a lot of us in our shared space and stuff like that, we forget how to be fans sometimes. And I always, speaking for myself, I always try to lead with that, right? I'll make stupid boneheaded comments about certain shit because I'm a fan first. And this match, it was just, it was everything, man. It was everything. And for all intents and purposes, I forget who said this. It was. Sorry for misusing the term, but it was an old timer. And I was like, pro wrestling is fan service. That's what pro wrestling is. And if you don't give the fans what they want, you're going against what pro wrestling is supposed to be about. Yes, it's about the good and the bad. Yes, it's about being able to tell a story in the ring. But you end up always giving the fans what they want because they're the ones paying you the money in order for you to be able to travel up and down the roads, fly in the jets, flex off your Rolexes and all that bullshit. They're the ones, man. You have to give the people what they want. And in Japan, that is just something that they do better than anywhere else when it comes to stuff like this, especially when it comes to retirements and how venerated Tanahashi is. And it's perfect, man. This match was perfect from beginning to end. It was perfect. And, to come off of what just happened in the semi-main, right, with that match, because we're going to get to that, how they paced this match. Perfect. And I was like, yeah. For people who talk shit about Okada, and Okada lost it, Okada ain't got it no more. Y'all ain't watching. Y'all ain't watching.
You don't know ball if you ain't saying this.
Y'all
this
ain't
man
watching.
got it. Like, this man got it. It ain't a case of skill. It's a case of will. If he don't fuck with you, he ain't gonna try. But if he loves you like he loves Tanahashi, like what Tanahashi means to his career, we got big match Okada on Sunday morning. We got that. We got GOAT Okada. And it might be a case of his style is more akin to the Japanese pro wrestling scene more than it is American television, because he can't have these big, grandiose, well-paced and escalates and ebbs and flows type main events like this on AEW television all the time. Like Jimmy Macaram says it all the time. He was like, if I want to see Okada wrestle, I'll turn on a pay-per-view, because that's usually when he's going to turn it on. He's going to turn it on for the big match when the lights are on brightest. No one has the resume of Kazuchika Okada in the big match situation. And this was just another example of it.
And I think what people need to realize with the Okada AEW character, that is part of the character. I think people need to start to grasp that concept. Him not putting in the effort, it's part of the character. You know what I'm saying? It's in line with what he does. It's but yet again, I thought this was perfect. Thank you to Tanahashi. Thank you to Okada. Thank you to everybody who was there for this retirement match. Big ups to all wrestlers who paid homage and respect to Tanahashi in whatever version of social media that they can. Because that doesn't necessarily get played out a lot of the times. And they said something during commentary that really hit home. And I've never heard anyone ever have a bad word to say about Hiroshi Tanahashi. Not a one person. And
he's the true definition of a babyface. Yeah. He's a good person in and out of the ring.
And the outpouring of love that he got from the Joshi scene, like the ladies in Japan love Tana-san. And I there's a separate level of respect I have for Joshi wrestlers because of the history of it. And for the girls who are there now to pay so much respect, even some of the icons paying their respect at the end of the day via social media. It's like, yeah, this guy right here, yeah, that's deserved. That's deserved, because we Muto gets his shit at the end of the day because of who he was. Chono's like mad under the radar when it comes to certain things and whatnot. People have their specific beliefs on Misawa, and Kabashi I think is also very highly held in regard and stuff like that. But what Tana's what was able to do in that 26 year career, I don't think can be done again. So yeah.
So the match in total went 33 minutes. And like Sonal said, to echo what Sonal said, it never felt like that.
It never felt like 33 minutes. It was just so well paced. It was absolute an epic encounter worthy of the end of the career of who will be remembered as the GOAT of New Japan Pro Wrestling. There was no one who was more important to where New Japan Pro Wrestling is today right now than Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I think the thing with people who like, because people will compare Tanahashi to Cena and things, but I don't think people understand who have not followed New Japan, who don't know about New Japan, is that just how bad New Japan was at certain times, and that Tanahashi stayed there. Tanahashi didn't go off and decide to be a movie star for some time. He didn't decide to go part-time. For 25 plus years, Tanahashi has been there. Always. Do you know what I mean? But then again, it's not just he's been there. He's behind the scenes. He's working with the young lions. He's training the future. There is... like you mentioned, I said in commentary, nobody has a bad word to say. People who don't know New Japan, don't know Tanahashi, do not realize just how important he is to New Japan, to the history. As people said, he saved the company. He was there. He was the one fighting to try and get people in the seat. He's the one who's trying to bring the talent in. Like, you can't compare anyone to Tanahashi. And I think that's what kind of annoys me. Do you know what I mean? Even when people are comparing the Cena and Tanahashi thing, well, sorry, like, Tanahashi is in a completely different level for his commitment to New Japan. John Cena is a separate entity outside. Tanahashi is New Japan. New Japan is Tanahashi.
Yeah, like WWE wants to say, oh, Cena saved us after the Austin and Rock left. We needed somebody. We needed a new star, and Cena saved us. No, you want to talk about a guy who saved a promotion? It's Hiroshi Tanahashi. Where New Japan was in the early 2010s, it wasn't what it used to be. Like, Noah had gotten a lot of like buzz in the 2000s, and they had taken a lot of the shine away from New Japan. Despite New Japan still being the number one promotion in Japan and still being the biggest, a lot of the buzz and the attention went to Pro Wrestling Noah because they had Masawa, they had Kenta Kobashi, you had Kenta, you had Naramichi Marufuji, and those guys were just like the biggest stars, and they crossed over into the mainstream with the relationship with Ring of Honor at the time. And New Japan had their little relationship with TNA that really kind of, we saw what Okada's run in TNA was basically. It's like I know, but like that's where we were. Like they didn't, and even when the partnership with TNA, they didn't treat Tanahashi like he was the top star of New Japan. He got featured a couple of times. They got a couple of times where TNA were a part of like the Tokyo Dome shows and stuff like that. But it was just very quiet for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Tanahashi was that one stabling force, that one stable person that they could rely upon to go against the older guard, to go against the Minoru Suzuki's, kind of his peers of that generation, to go against the previous generation with Nagata and stuff like that. And then in 2012, when Okada comes back, he made the next star. He made Okada with the Okada shock, because they took a risk on a guy who was basically booked to oblivion in TNA, and he comes back and they strapped the rocket to him, made him the next guy. Along the way, you had Naito who rose to prominence after they gave him a big push and he fell down. He rose to prominence with Los Ingobernables de Japón. Then they had the Gaijins, like your Prince Devitt, with your Kenny Omegas, with your AJ Styles. Jay White would come, Will Ospreay would come, but always Tanahashi was there. Tanahashi was the one stabling force that they could always go back to. And that's why, like, when I was asked by We Work Stiff, they was like, oh, what's the one match that kind of defines how you view Hiroshi Tanahashi? I said it was the 2018 G1 Climax final with Kota Ibushi, because at that time it was kind of like they were like, Okada was bigger, Omega was bigger. Even Ibushi was on the rise. He was looking like he was going to get into that spot. Will Ospreay, this is in the middle of Will Ospreay's rise. Jay White had just come back.
but they gave the ball to Hiroshi Tanahashi. They said, we're going to give you one more G1 win. And just him at that older age, in his 40s, just showing the will, giving that all-time great performance against Ibushi. That is what I will always remember from Hiroshi Tanahashi. When they ask you, when your number is always called, you always come through. And not only did you come through for yourself and carry yourself to the promised land, you carry the entire company to the promised land every single time. That is Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah, SP3, you're gonna make me cry again now.
I can't disagree there. Just wanted to add a couple of more bits to reiterate here. Like Sonal said, Tanahashi never left, right? I think a lot of us hold Shibata to high esteem. For those of us who've watched New Japan long enough, we also hold Nakamura to high esteem, right? Shibata at the beginning of his prime left New Japan to go to All Japan and do freelance work because he didn't know where New Japan was going to go with its future. Nakamura eventually left at the end of the day. Tana stayed. You know what I'm saying? And that says a lot at the end of the day. And, you know, to me, he is the symbol of what, like Sonal said, Tanahashi is New Japan is Tanahashi at the end of the day. And if it wasn't for him, I would have probably never gotten back into New Japan Pro Wrestling as much as I did in the aughts, let alone the 2010s and everything else in between. Because like SP3 said, Noah took over, man. Noah took over after the exodus of All Japan and when Misawa and Marufuji and Kenta and everything else and Kobashi, like that was Japanese wrestling at its peak in the mid aughts. And then when things just devolved after that, we needed something, at least for those of us fans of Japanese wrestling, we needed something else to pay attention to. And Tanahashi was always there. Tanahashi was always there, banger after banger, working with whoever they put in front of him. He never big leagued anybody. He never said, that doesn't work for me, brother. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing any of that. So shouts to Tanahashi, man. And yeah, I hope his influence continues to be felt in not only New Japan Pro Wrestling, but Japanese wrestling in total into the future and stuff like that, man. So yeah.
Yeah. We love you, Ace. But we haven't even talked about the post-match with the Hiroshi Tanahashi retirement ceremony. First, Okada says to Tanahashi after he beats him, says he knows Tada is tired, but he thanks him for everything. He says, all I can say is thank you. He walks out the ring. He leaves the ring to Tanahashi, and there's no boos for Tanahashi losing. It's only cheers. It's chants of Tanahashi as he gets to his feet. He sees the crowd, and then the retirement ceremony begins with the sponsors. They announce the sponsors who are giving Tanahashi his flowers, and then we get the first big surprise. The Switchblade has arrived. Switchblade Jay White appearing on any form of professional wrestling for the first time since April of last year, to a huge pop. As soon as they hear the opening chord of his theme song, that crowd went nuts. White comes out to the big pop. He basically gives Tanahashi his flowers. He then poses with Tada. He does the Tada taunt as well. I was like, oh, this is just a beautiful moment. This is what it's all about. This was nice. Then we get the music of Will Ospreay hits, and Ospreay gets a huge pop, and we hear Elevated once again in the Tokyo Dome. He comes out looking spiffy too. This is Will on best behavior. This was best behavior Will. Literally, I had Romeo message me in the True Hill Heat chat. He was like, "Wow, Chris Evans is here," because that's how good Will Ospreay looked. He looked like Captain America, Captain Britain out here. He gives the flowers to Tanahashi. He poses with Tanahashi, takes some photos. Then we hear motherfucking Devil Sky, and we get the cleaner, Kenny Omega, and then I see some guy limping behind him, and I'm like, holy shit, they got Kota. I literally have my notes. Kota fucking Ibushi? Question mark, exclamation point. And then I said, he's limping down on his bad ankle. This man is insane. He's a madman. Oh my God, me and J-News at this point were messaging each other like, what the fuck? What the fuck is Kota Ibushi thinking? What is he thinking? Oh, we get Kenny Omega. He gets into the ring. Kota Ibushi gets into the ring with his bat. You got everybody watching him. Like, what are you doing? You probably weren't even allowed here. You probably had to sneak it to the back. Kenny Omega snuck you to the back. But we get both men giving the flowers to Tanahashi, sharing a moment with him, taking photos with him. This all, and I was like, Tanahashi, he's doing real well to holding it together. But what broke him was the opening chorus to Shibata's theme song. This man starts bawling. He's like, I can't do it. He's covering his face. The camera's zooming in on him as he's crying tears to hear Shibata's theme song in the Tokyo Dome. Shibata comes out. Shibata in full heel mode, even with his Ops t-shirt. He's got his fingers in his ear. He comes down to the ring, and he just basically, before he gives him the flowers, and then he just gets hyped. He just takes off his shirt. They lock up. They start trading chops, and then they hug, and Tada loses it again. He starts bawling, crying. This is magical. This is magical. This was probably my favorite of the guests who arrived, because Shibata was just there for Tanahashi. He said fuck everything else. He said he dipped out right after that. He was like, I'm not waiting. He was like, I shared my moment with my fellow Three Musketeers, and that is it. We get Kenji Muda coming into the ring as a special guest. We get Tatsumi Fujinami, who was Hiroshi Tanahashi's favorite wrestler growing up. They share a moment with Tanahashi in the ring. Then we get a big group photo with all of the special guests except for Shibata. We get Kenji Muda, who is the ultimate unk, who pulls out his cell phone and starts taking selfies. And he said all the white people out of it, and Ibushi, he said all you white people out of it, I just need Fujinami, me, and Tanahashi. He said fuck everybody else. Ultimate unk energy. And it took him a day and a half to get his phone to work to do the selfie as well. Tanahashi has his moment in the ring. He gets to say a few words, but then the music of Tetsuya Naito hits. Tetsuya Naito's New Japan hit, and then it transitions into his new Los Tranquilos de Japón theme. And Tanahashi, they literally played like the opening 2 minutes of his New Japan theme, and then it went into the new theme. And at this point, we didn't even see anybody come out, and Tanahashi's pointing at his watch like, what the fuck is this dude doing? This dude is grandstanding my retirement. We get Bushi, who comes out first with the GAC Tag Team Championships. Then finally, Naito comes out. He stands on the stage for at least 2 minutes. He's milking this. His entrance was longer than I think Hiroshi Tanahashi's and Okada's combined. That's how long it took Naito to get to the ring. Literally, Bushi was able to get to the ring, give him his flowers, take off his mask, share a moment with Tanahashi, and Naito had still not gotten to the ring. This was hilarious. Naito never changed. Naito finally gets on the mic. He honors Tanahashi. He says that he never thought that he would be back in the New Japan ring. And he says he might not ever be back in the New Japan ring. He's like, no, I won't ever be back in the New Japan ring. Basically telling from what Lyric giving us her translation, she thinks this is him telling Tanahashi, like, I'll come back if you get rid of that man who got the pen. That man who got the pen, who tried to ruin my last run. But yeah, because apparently Naito had been helping out with booking before he left New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that kind of coincides with when New Japan booking went into the gutter in 2025. So not a coincidence. But Naito says, he honors Tanahashi. He said he got into wrestling because of Muta, but it was Tanahashi who gave him the example. He honors Tanahashi, and they share a moment. They give the LIJ fist bump with one another. It took Tanahashi a while to accept it, because he was like, I thought you were going to attack me. But they share that moment in the ring with one another. Tanahashi then gets on the mic. He thanks the fans again. We get an air guitar performance from Tanahashi with a few encores. He used the biggest air guitar he could find under the ring. Tanahashi then says some final words once again. We think it's the final words. I thought this retirement ceremony was over like 3 or 4 times at this point. But then he gets a 10-bell salute and he starts bawling again. He's fighting back tears. Tears are running down his face. He poses for the crowd. The Tokyo Dome crowd then chants for Tanahashi to pose again, pose again. He gets back on the rope and he poses again. What a moment. Then Tanahashi gets in a float, a motherfucking float, y'all. A motherfucking float. And he goes around the Tokyo Dome to get close to the fans, so the fans have an opportunity to get close to Tanahashi once more. This was just great. This was just overwhelming adulation and respect and honor and celebrating one of the most iconic pro wrestlers that's ever stepped foot in a ring. This was just so beautiful, so touching, so wholesome in so many ways. After the whole float that has him parading around the entire Tokyo Dome ends, he goes to the stage and then he finally says his last words. And he says he is so happy he fell in love with pro wrestling. He says 26 years ago, it's because of every single fan that has brought him this incredible life in professional wrestling. And then we get the I love you to the fans at the end. This was absolute perfection. This is how a retirement ceremony is supposed to be. You have guest stars, you get a few surprises, you get so many touching moments, so many moments of people who have shared the ring with one another and grew this overwhelming respect and love for one another, and just showing all of that to someone who's still around to get those flowers, to get that respect that sometimes you don't get until you pass away. Tanahashi was able to get this moment, and then they put the cherry on top for me. They played high energy. They played. I was like Vince McMahon talking about Undertaker. I was like, I can't talk. They played high energy. I popped for high energy. I was like, that's what I wanted. They play a whole video package of his career, highlighting some of his greatest rival, all of his accolades over I think it was like 2,999 matches that he's had in his career, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship runs, all the New Japan Cups, the G1 wins, 3 of those. Like, oh man. This was absolute perfection. That is the only way to say it. The question in the headline says, did Hiroshi Tanahashi have the perfect retirement? Not only did he have the perfect retirement, he had the greatest retirement ever. A 5-star instant classic main event, and then fucking an hour-long ceremony. I don't care if you think it was too long. It was perfection. Sonal, what did you think about the retirement ceremony? And what was your favorite part?
Too long. No, perfect. Can I just part? You know the carts when he's coming up. It's the fact that the young lions are pushing it. Nah, they were all there. Bolton was there. Aaron Wolf was there. Honma was there. That again, I want to say that shows how much everyone respects. Honma is a veteran. He didn't have to be out there following Tanahashi on this little float. It's like pushing it. I just like as soon as the music for Jay hit, and I went, this is going to be something special, because we mentioned it before. They broke kayfabe for this. In my mind, they were never bringing Jay back. In my mind, Jay White was never stepping back on Japanese soil again. I mean, obviously, he might go on holiday there, but you know what I mean? Like in a wrestling terms.
Yeah.
And then like you said, Ospreay, Kenny, and I love when Shibata came and they started wrestling and then it turned into a hug. I was like, because obviously, if you think about it, 1 year ago when I was there, Tanahashi and Shibata had that crazy sicko match that only sickos loved, and we were sickos for loving it. So that's the thing. And then a year later, that's what happened. And then, thank you for the shout out to Muto and his selfie skills. It's so funny. So while he was trying to do this, Jay thought they were taking pictures. So Jay was just stood by himself doing the ace pose. He had like one arm around Ibushi, and then he was like, okay, let me do an ace pose. Just stood there while Muto was trying to take this god down. Then he got it, and then Jay was like, do I get in? And then he was like moving away. So okay.
No, because Muto said, none of you white people. I want the Japanese people, except for Ibushi.
That was happening, and then the Naito thing, and It's crazy because, like you said, the so many of these people wouldn't have left on the greatest terms, and they brought them all back. Naito got and I'm glad Naito got a chance to speak, because I mean, I think if Jay had spoken, I might have had to run out of a building or something. I might not have finished the rest of the show. But to hear Naito speak to Tanahashi and the fist bump, it's so funny how you were saying that Tanahashi seemed uncertain. On commentary, Chris was like, as Naito was going, he's like, don't trust him. And I was there, I was like, don't trust him, don't trust him. And then he didn't, and I was like, okay, Naito's not being a dick. I mean, he was a dick because obviously 5-minute entrance, but he wasn't going to hurt Tanahashi. And the way that he went around and on the floats, and because if anyone's been to the Tokyo Dome, it's fucking massive. I was pretty lucky, like when I was at the Tokyo Dome, I was on the lower bowl, but it's very high. And so the fact that Tanahashi was so elevated meant that he could see the people who were in the second tier. The ones who probably couldn't really see anything of the match itself, who just wanted to be there. And that just, again, proved just how good Tanahashi is as a person. And yeah, it was so fitting. And then by the end, when the package, I was like, no! At one point, before Tanahashi's match started, I was like, if I stop watching this show now, does that mean that Tanahashi never had his retirement? So in my head, that means Tanahashi has never retired.
Exactly. Unless you've seen the match, he's not retired yet.
I was so tempted. I was like, after the semi-main event, I was like, do I just go now? And then, like, I can just stay in denial that Tanahashi has never retired. I'll just see him tomorrow at New Year's Dash.
Yeah, you're like, where's Tanahashi at? What's going on?
I was like, he wasn't on the card yesterday. I just assumed he'd be here.
You know, I thought the career continues if I didn't watch, right? J-News, what did you think about this ceremony?
Nah, man, the ceremony aspect just added to the fantastic match that had just finished. You know, it's like I said before, you know, they broke the kayfabe. People came out there who were banned and not allowed in New Japan. People who had shitty relationships at the end of their New Japan runs were out there. You know, the dignitaries, as I mentioned before, and you know, to something that resonated with me as well. Shouts to Nick Jackson, the Negro Buck in the chat. That Shibata moment, man. I've never seen Shibata that emotional a day in my life. And for him to show and express that much emotion while hugging Tanahashi, I was like, this is what this man means. Not to just pro wrestling, but to the people there, right? As a person. And that to me was all I needed to understand. And I was like, because and to talk about it is just me as a fan, but from a human condition standpoint, like to see that much emotion come out of a person, just to know and understand what they mean to that person who they're hugging and exchanging this embrace with. It was like, okay, I understand now. I get it. So, you know, I'm getting emotional talking about it. It's yeah, man, when you see stuff like that and the reverence and the respect that everybody that came out there gave him, like I said, well deserved. And yeah, man, the freaking caravan thing, the float thing afterwards.
I was like, is it a parade? It was like we're doing a straight up parade.
In Tanahashi's defense, this is a very common thing in Japan. I've watched many J-pop and K-pop concerts at the Tokyo Dome, and they will do this.
Okay.
It's just a way to get closer to the people. It's not always like the scale, but for example, 17, their K-pop band, they have big ones that they do around the stadium. Another group, they had like little ones that like raised up. It's quite normal for like big venues like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he also did the wave that he's been doing on a lot of the smaller shows. He got the fans to do the wave in the Tokyo Dome. Just to, like, I don't understand how, if you could watch this and not have a big smile on your face or be in absolute tears, getting broken apart of how emotional this was. I don't think you're human. you got to check your pulse to make sure you're still alive, because it either put a big smile on your face or had you completely emotional. It's one of those two reactions to all of this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, terrific moment.
We got Big Man Dog says, I wish Naito would have gotten some surgeries in Mexico so he could at least be a 2000s Muta R farmer. Naito grandstanding. This whole retirement ceremony was so Naito coded, but I was like, it was like you could kind of be like, oh, it's similar to Triple H grandstanding Cena's retirement, but they're gonna be talked about completely differently because Naito was being Naito.
Perfect. And it's the fact that Tanahashi was embracing it. The man was looking at his watch. He's like, we might get charged if we take any longer. And then with the fist bump, he's like, shit, I might get one last. I mean, I probably can't hit it with the knees, but I might get a Destino hit on me after I did a Destino. How interesting.
Oh, we got Nikki Boy, Negro Buck, who says the greatest retirement I've ever seen. We also got Nalin, who says, I need TK to give Naito the ROH book. Nah, they just need to give New Japan. They need to give Naito the New Japan book, because once he left the booking team, reportedly or rumored to be a part of that booking team in early 2025, that's when that shit went downhill, when Gato was left to his own devices.
Damn. Well, now we know, folks. Now we know at the end of the day. But I'll say one last thing, man. I think it's been said plenty of times here in the chat. No one left that arena, man. No one left. No. Everyone stayed. That goes to show, the love and the respect and the adoration that folks have for Hiroshi Tanahashi and things of that nature. And yeah, man, it's far from me to ever say things are perfect, but that was perfect in my eyes. And yeah. Fan service and everything, man. It was a perfect retirement. The match, the ceremony, and everything else in between, man. So yeah, just wanted to say that.
Yeah. We got a super chat donation from our good friend Andrew Brown in the chat. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. He says, there is a case AEW wouldn't exist without Tanahashi. I mean, it's not like a case, it's a fact, because Tony Khan has admitted on several different times that New Japan Pro Wrestling and the rise of NJPW in the late 2010s, that is really an inspiration and a motivation that he had, that there was a space for another big competitor brand in the United States. It's the whole Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho matchup from 2018 at the Tokyo Dome. That was the inspiration that caused Tony Khan by the end of the year to put everything together to create AEW. And the Chris Jericho Kenny Omega matchup doesn't happen if Kenny Omega and Okada don't happen the year before that. Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada doesn't happen and isn't as big if Okada isn't made by Tanahashi. So it all starts with Tanahashi. So
center of the universe.
1 of 100, and he proved it, because he had a 1 of 100. Talent. 1 in a century and a 1 in a century retirement, for sure. Beautiful stuff. We got thank you for the super chat donation again. We got Big Man Dogs. He says, I wonder if Naito in part went to Noah because he wants to book. No, because Naito, you can tell Naito wants to be in New Japan. And I think that whether it's Gato moving aside or whatever needs to happen, because the next time I think that New Japan has a chance to sell out the Tokyo Dome is for Tetsuya Naito's retirement.
Jesus, don't, no, SP3, no. We've just had Tanahashi. I don't need to think no more, no retirement.
I mean, we're probably like 2-3 years away from that, but we're on the road to that because of how he's looked the last couple of years. But like, I think that is what Naito was saying. He was saying, I want to come back to New Japan Pro Wrestling because there's only one place he should be retiring, in the Tokyo Dome. Maybe you have to call up Okada to be like, Okada, we got another person that you give a fuck about to give us a big match and to close out.
Imagine their match together. That would be hilarious.
It would be so good. It would be so good.
because Okada would have to work extra hard, even harder than with Tanahashi, because Naito is the only person who can give less of a fuck than Okada in certain matches.
And this is so like Tanahashi, he's got the heart and the soul, but no knees. Tanahashi, Naito has got no knees, his eyes are fucked, and he doesn't give a fuck.
That is true. This is true. You what you said is true. What Andrew said, Naito might be in worse shape than Tanahashi.
Oh, he definitely is. Because at least Tanahashi's got his eyes. It's after when Naito said, "Oh yeah, I had a third eye surgery." The doctor said I should have had that. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, Naito.
I made this point during the preview, but I'm going to reiterate it here, and it shows you how funny and how ironic and how fucked up life can be all at the same time. Of the three Musketeers, right? Shibata, Nakamura, and Tanahashi. Shibata was the one who had the damn near life-ending injury. And he's the one in the best physical condition out of the three of them.
Yeah.
That to me is like the macro of the world is like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Shibata wrestled a more violent style. You know what I'm saying? He should be beat down and damn near, crippled.
He should have no knees as well.
Yeah, but like he seems to be from the outside looking, he seems to be fine. You know what I'm saying? And Tana's out here with no knees, and Nakamura's damn near slowed down 5-6 times the amount that what we're used to seeing him. You know what I'm saying? And then we talk about people like Marufuji and things of that nature, guys of that particular generation. Is like, fuck, man. And I was like, who's got the sauce, man? Who's got the sauce? So I just wanted to make that point at the end of the day. But yeah, man, I think that for all intents and purposes, I'll say this now instead of saying it at the end of the show. I had my quips about the entire show overall, but the retirement match and the ceremony and everything else in between probably poked this up quite a few points up there.
This is why I'm saying that this was a great show. Is this retirement? The last hour to hour and a half of this show was absolutely more than I could have even imagined. I did not imagine that Okada and Tanahashi were going to give us this type of matchup, because they're the last match that they had at New Beginning in 2024. That was what I thought this match would be, where it would just be. That was them just hitting the greatest hits, giving us a low-level matchup in the middle of the card that was just kind of a tribute to their rivalry, and then call it a day. Okada hits the Rainmaker 1, 2, 3. This one was a bona fide dome main event. This was, they left everything in the ring, 33 minutes, ebbs and flows, the emotional roller coaster, the drama that you wanted, the near falls that you needed. And then you got an hour-long kind of tribute and ceremony to Tanahashi's career, like with surprises, with great moments, with Shibata and Naito, and just everything you could have imagined. Like I was going to say, before we get into the rest of the show, and we'll start from the pre-show, and then we'll go through and we'll end off with the double title matchup. What is your out of 10 score for the retirement? I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Sonal?
100.
100 out of 100. Yes.
No, 100 out of 10.
100 out of 10. Yes. J-News?
Yeah, man. This is a 10 out of 10, man. 5-star, 7, 8.5 in the Tokyo Dome, as it should have been. You know what I'm saying? So,
as it should be.
Yeah, man. At least.
Beautiful stuff. All right, now we're gonna start from the beginning. I want to say once again, I think Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton did an excellent job throughout the entire show. Walker, the best play-by-play guy, and Chris Charlton was on his best behavior. He almost lost it during the double title match, but he was on his best behavior in comparison to last year.
He did well. As soon as Rocky came in a commentary, I was like, oh, this is awkward.
It's like, here we go again.
I think like Chris also kind of like alluded to it as well. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's like, here we go again.
I'm gonna die on that hill, man. They should have ran with that shit. They should have ran with that shit.
Yeah, instead of suspending him for 3 months.
A bunch of people saying Genesis J, good to see you, saying 100 out of 11. We got a 10 out of 10, 8 and left no crumbs from Call Me Mr. Bonda. And we got also in the chat here, Big Man Dog saying my demon, talking about Chris Charlton. The opening matchup, I want to mention the stage and the set, top 5 Tokyo Dome stage or set that I've seen. It was amazing. It was immaculate. Loved it.
It was so elegant. It just looked like something like, I was like, when I saw that, and because Wrestle Kingdom, the entrances are great anyway, but just the added, like, obviously the whole, like, staging and stuff, I was like, yo, you going all out for Tanahashi. I approve.
Much approved. We get the Young Lions getting showcased in the first matchup that started about 6:15 a.m. for us in the UK, 1:15 a.m. for you in the US Eastern time. It was Shomo Kato and Tatsuya Matsumoto versus Kazuya Morishima and Masatora Yasuda. Lots of energy from all 4 guys early on. It's a shorter matchup, but they did have a really good effort from everybody involved. And Morishima is the one who scores the win. I always say, if it's a Young Lions matchup with this group, Morishima is going to win 9 times out of 10. That's usually how it works. Morishima scores the win for his team with a very well executed Boston Crab. He even did a couple of squats on the back of Matsumoto to get him to tap out to get the win. Any thoughts on this shorter Young Lion matchup? I give it 2.5 stars. Sonal?
I was saying this actually when I did my preview. I was like, because they mentioned it, but I really wanted the Young Lions on it. Because last year they weren't. Because 9 times out of 10, the Ranbo is in the pre-show, and they don't normally get a chance of it. So when I saw that announcement, I was kind of surprised Nagai wasn't in it. But obviously, he's got affiliation now. Well, not unaffiliated anymore, but you know what I mean? He's got his place. So, but to see these 4 guys, and yeah, Morishima is phenomenal. He is a guy, and we're gonna go back to Tanahashi. This is a guy who is under the tutelage of Tanahashi, similar to what we've had with Tsuji, Evil, like his Young Lion. He has become on so much. His personality is shown. Obviously, Kato is doing great things as well. Yasuda, after a little setback, he is doing phenomenal. And even Matsumoto, who is, again, one of the most junior guys out of the Young Lions. Also, shout out, we saw some new Young Lions at ringside, which means that we're going to see some excursions soon, which is exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I was so happy that they got, because, okay, the Tokyo Dome wouldn't have been full at that point, but to say you got to wrestle at the Tokyo Dome as a Young Lion, that is going to be, some of their dreams have already come true. So I was so happy. I was like, yeah, you go, my Young Lions.
What about you, J-News?
Yeah, I think this is a good, like Sonal was saying, I think this is a good opportunity for the Young Lions. At the end of the day, what I took from it, especially because of what commentary was saying, for all intents and purposes, I feel like this was the transitional match for Morishima. At the end of the day, he will be the one leading the pack. He's probably going to be the first one to go on excursions sooner rather than later. I wonder where he's going to be choosing to go. And
I feel bias-wise, I'd love him to come to the UK just because I remember watching Shota and Tsuji on their excursion matches with Rev Pro, and like I kind of want that.
We'll see what happens, but I think it was cool for the Young Lions to get that exposure, especially in front of that large crowd, even though people were still filing into the arena and all that stuff. But yeah.
And Morishima got more shine on the New Year's Dash, and we'll talk about New Year's Dash when we get to the end of our review here. The other pre-show matchup was for the NJPW World Television Championship. El Phantasmo going one-on-one with Chris Brookes. They did do the DDT spot, like I mentioned earlier, where Chris Brookes held up El Phantasmo while his stablemates had a slingshot that they basically climbed up the ramp and pulled back on it, and the slingshot got ELP in the face. We got Brookes with a cheap shot on Jado that got this match a little bit more heated, a little bit more aggression from both men after that. Chris Brookes busting out the octopus hold at one point, looking like he was going to submit ELP. They traded covers for a bit until ELP was able to bust out the CR2. He then followed up with the Thunder Kiss 86 for the 1-2-3 to retain the television championship. I thought this was a solid effort from both guys involved. It was fine for what it was. I give it 3 stars. What did you think, Sonal?
It's a Chris Brookes match. It's a ELP match. I get where SP3 is coming from because SP3 isn't a DDT guy. But for me, like, I was marking out when the elastic rubber bands came out because that's something that I see so often within Chris Brookes and with obviously the guys. So I was like, whoa. ELP, if you've got time, go and watch ELP's post-match comments because like him talking about Chris Brookes, I was like, I'm gonna cry, man. I already cried Tanahashi, I'm gonna cry again. The bond and the history between Chris Brookes and ELP falls so deep over years, sickness and health. They basically should be married at this point. But the way that they got to have this Wrestle Kingdom Tokyo Dome moment together. Like, I would love to see, I mean, obviously, I think Chris thrives in DDT. But if this is something that can happen, I would love to see Chris more. And I think ELP even said he'd love to go to DDT a few more times. So I think it was great. It was an amazing showcase for Chris Brookes because 90% of those people probably had no idea who Chris Brookes or had never seen him wrestle. And for someone who's been following him for a few years, and I think J-News will say the same, I was incredibly proud. I was very emotional.
What about you, J-News?
Yeah, echoing that sentiment there, man. I've been watching Chris Brookes since his days on the UK Indies, man, and to see him on this big of a stage, I was nervous for him to see how he would perform. To be quite honest, in that big of a situation, but he did the damn thing. Him and ELP were able to put on, like you said, SP3. Nothing crazy. It was a fine match. At the end of the day, with the DDT shenanigans and everything else, and ELP's comments about Chris post match were, there was a lot of heartfelt stuff going on backstage after the show was over. So, shouts to ELP for that. And I hope, like Sonal said, I hope, and I said this earlier, I hope to see Chris Brookes more on New Japan. And if they're going to be crossing that bridge and ELP going over to DDT, I hope that they really do something with this alliance of the Japanese wrestling companies, man. There should be more talent exchanges around just to make the Japanese wrestling scene an even bigger thing. And being that New Japan is the promotion with the bigger platform, whoever you guys might think is a star out of the lesser known entities, pick those people out and give them a little bit of a bump and go from there, man, because the Japanese wrestling scene needs it. I think this is a good way to continue that going forward and stuff like that, even though Chris Brookes isn't a Japanese wrestler, but he's a part of the Japanese wrestling promotion. So, yeah.
Mr. Town saying I saw most of this match and it was really good. Chris Brookes looks like a WWE guy. Was he in WWE before SP3? No, he comes from like the European indies, and then he came over.
No, he would never go to WWE. We trust in Chris Brookes. Man is firmly living in Japan. Man is basically Japanese at this point. He even did his post-match comments in Japanese.
Yes. Exactly. For those watching the actual in-ring wrestling, if you notice there's a lot of very familiar mannerisms between Chris Brookes and Zack Sabre Jr.
Exactly.
And everything else in between. So yeah, he's never been to WWE.
Nah. I did love the intro before we go into the main card where Tanahashi was dancing in front of a green screen, and he basically looked like Bill Cosby at the beginning of the Cosby Show when he's dancing and he comes in like that's how Tanahashi.
He's playing like the air guitar. Random commercial that they get in like Japan with like an idol. I was like, what am I? Is Tanahashi? Which is funny because we'll speak about an idol. But I was just like, wow, Tanahashi. This is great. This is so random, but I'm obsessed.
This is so random, but I loved every minute of it. And not only did I love that, I loved the beginning, the entrances for our opening matchup, which was the New Japan Ranbo. I will go through everybody, and then I'll go through the how they came out. You have Toriano, Yo, Master Wato. They're the never open weight 6-man tag team champions defending in this matchup against TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr., Roy Uyawa, and Hartley Jackson. Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi teaming up with Bolton Oleg, all of Hontai. Another Hontai faction was Shoto Umino, Yuya Uemura, and Kosei Takeshi. Then you get from DDT. Then you get Toge Makabe, Tiger Mask, and Ryusuke Taguchi. I call them the Unks. Then we got the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, and Knockout Brothers, Yuto Ice and Oscar. You got Taiji, Tomohiro Ishii, and Satoshi Kojima, Team 150. Then you get the House of Torture, Sanada, Ren Narita, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. The New Japan Ranbo is intervals, kind of similar to like a Royal Rumble with people coming out after 1 minute intervals. And we got a full-on J-pop performance for the entrance for Kosei Takeshi from DDT, who is an idol in Japan, and he cut it up. I was like, this man is cutting it up. He out here showing all the moves before he even stepped into a ring. I was like, all right, I'm impressed. The group Rampage performs him to the ring. I was like, this was pretty cool. And the first team out against them is the House of Torture. And in my notes, I have, what the fuck is Sanada wearing? He looks like a Tron robot.
He looked great.
Hey, candidate for one of the best entrance attires of the entire night. I'll give him that.
Exactly.
We get the baby faces teaming up with one another against the House of Torture early on. Nice little 3-way drop kick. Then we get the Bullet Club War Dogs, who came out next, and they are accompanied to the ring by Tekla from AEW. I was like, I love Tekla, who just used this opportunity to get her Tokyo Dome entrance. Hey, that is what you're supposed to do, homegirl. We get the Knockout Brothers come into the ring, and they're just so over. We get the big chants for the Bumblecott knee early on from Yuto Ice. Yuto Ice going at it with a couple of different people, including TMDK, who came out next, who had Roye Uyawa, who now has blonde hair, and Hartley Jackson, who was making his Tokyo Dome debut at the age of 45. Uyawa and Yuto, they start trading forearms from the outset, stemming from their time in the dojo together. Then we get Tiger Mask, Taguchi, and Makabe. They were out next. They noted that this is the 30th and final time that Tiger Mask will be in the Tokyo Dome, and they officially announced that he is retiring in June. Uyawa eliminates Oscar to remove the War Dogs from the Ranbo here. Next out is Bishamon and Oleg. Then out after that is Ishii, Taiji, and Kojima. Oleg gives the kamikaze to Tiger Mask to eliminate his team as Team 150 was coming into the ring. Then you get a good exchange between Ishii, Bolton, with both men's shoulders wrap. It was a battle of the injured shoulders here. Then we get next, the last entrance is of course the champions, which was Toru Yano, Yo, and Master Wato. Yo came out as full-on scary Yano with the blonde hair, with the liquor in his hand and everything, dressed as Yano. Tori Yono is what they were calling him. We get a tense exchange of forearms between Ishii and Shooter, which was a preview of what would happen at New Year's Dash. We also got a decent battle between Yuya and Taichi, leading to both men eliminating one another to take out both teams. Yono is doing full-on Yano spots and poses. Yo gets saved by his partners when he's about to get eliminated. Then Sanada gets saved when he's about to get eliminated. And then eventually Yo and Yano both get eliminated to eliminate both teams. And we're down to TMDK, Bishamon, and Oleg. So we know we're getting a new champion here. Zach is able to score the victory for his team as he gets the European clutch on Oleg for the 1-2-3. And TMDK are your new never open weight 6-man tag team champions. I thought this match was an absolute clusterfuck with the camera being all over the place and not a lot of. There was some good exchanges, like I said, with like Shooter and Ishii, and then Ishii and Oleg, and Yuya and Taiji was probably the best stuff in the matchup. I like the fact that TMDK gets the win, especially Hartley Jackson. Hartley Jackson winning his first title in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hiroshi Uewa winning his first title in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Hartley Jackson, someone who's paid his dues, working up and down the Japanese independents for years, gets his Tokyo Dome debut and wins his first championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Great to see for him, who's one of the nicest guys that you can talk to in pro wrestling today. So great moment there, but the match itself, I'll give it 2 stars. Sonal?
I mean, apart from those stupid production, like the camera work being shot, yeah, I really liked it. I had all my favorite people in it. I was like, oh, look, I've got an idol there. Oh, look, Shota's dancing to the ring. How exciting. Oh, look, House of Torture get eliminated. It's always a relief. Because I don't.
Hey, I'll tell you this. It wasn't what I thought was the worst match on the show.
No. But I was very relieved. I was like, because in my heart, I made a prediction, but I was like, yo, considering like the link between House of Torture and the Never, I was like, damn, they could just put it on there. I liked that Oscar was eliminated by Uewa. Because obviously that led in, because I know people were like, why did they get eliminated so early? I was like, mate, New Year's Dash, you got to think more about what's going. Then similarly, if you watch New Year's Dash, the fact that Uemura eliminated both him and Taiji, again, something you need. I like that there was little dots there. And then when TMDK won, I was, because I predicted that. And yeah, it's Uewa's first belt, Hartley Jackson, the big Jag. Oh, I'm so happy for him, because I just feel like for so long, because obviously he's like in his mid-40s, he's been doing the Japanese, and it's not only his debut, but he won a title. And I've thought for too long he's just been put there as the electrician. He was like, well, Bushi's not there, so I know Hartley's going to take pins all the time. And so the fact that he got this, I couldn't have been happier. Though a small part of me, I was like, if Bolton Oleg wasn't in the Bishamon team, I would have wanted them to.
Probably you would have. J-News, what did you think about the Ranbo?
I agree with you, SP3. I thought it was a clusterfuck. I just thought it was a mess, to be quite honest. I'm glad that my pick won. TMDK all the way. Shouts to the Big Jag. Outside of that, I ain't got nothing. I got nothing. I thought because I came into the match late. I didn't watch the entrances or anything like that, so I missed Takeshi's dance and all that shit. So for when I came into the match, I thought that the young man didn't get much burn. So it was like, I thought this was more of something to kind of put a spotlight on him, but it didn't seem that way. But at the end of the day, TMDK won. That's all that matters. Shout out to Big Jag. Zack Sabre Jr. again coming out of the Tokyo Dome with the championship. So hey, there that goes. And Big Roy also got his first championship in New Japan. So shout out to
he went blonde. Zach turned blonde and he was winning titles. Now Uewa's gone blonde and he's winning titles. Everyone was going blonde last night. Jesus, it feels like so long ago.
You might need to go blonde to win the title in TMDK, or blonde or bald.
To Fujita, take note, you can't be partially blonde. If you want to win the big one, you need to go fully blonde.
Hey, he did win a title, so there you go.
The wrong title, but it was still a title.
We'll talk about that. But yes, next up was the ladies from Stardom. IWGP Women's and Strong Women's Championships up for grabs. Winner takes all. Syuri, the IWGP Women's Champion, going against the World of Stardom Champion and NJPW Strong Women's Champion, Saya Kamitani. This entrance is just so aura-filled. It's just so much aura farming that I love it so much. I can't deny Saya Kamitani is an absolute superstar.
We get a very nice opening between the two ladies where they exchange and dodge a couple of strikes from one another. Kamitani and Syuri showing that aggression towards one another, and instantly, like before you knew it, this match was already in like second gear, because right from the onset we get like a crazy springboard dive by Saya where she almost goes into like the front row. How far she jumped on this one, I put here in my notes. Syuri strikes are some of the most violent and best in the business today. They just echoed across the arena anytime she kicked or striked Saya in the face or in the back. It was just sounded so nasty. I loved it. We get an avalanche Hurricane Rana into a Northern Light suplex from Saya, gets a 2 count. She then hits a tornado kick. Then they fight on the top rope with Syuri getting the advantage. She gets a Kimura suplex and then transitions into a standard Kimura. She then transitions the Kimura into a double armbar. She is just stretching the hell out of Saya. Saya desperately gets her foot onto the ropes. Saya flips out of a German suplex and she hits a schoolboy roll into a blue thunder bomb for a close near fall. Then Syuri kicks out of the Star Crusher, the finisher of Saya Kamitani. That got a big reaction from the Tokyo Dome fans. Syuri blocks another Star Crusher and she applies a disarmor, but Saya is able to get out of that. Syuri then responds and catches her with a big pump knee for a 2 count. Syuri then hits Saya Kai, but she only gets a 2.99 as Saya is able to get her shoulder up. Saya reverses an attempt at Syuri's finisher as she gets her up for the electric chair. She hits a poison Rana, but she's only able to get a 2. They trade hard strikes with one another. We get a close near fall on a Hurricane Rana pin by Saya, but then Syuri comes back. She hits a German suplex and then a roundhouse kick and then a buzzsaw kick, and that only gets a 2 count. She gets a second buzzsaw kick to the head. Then she picks her up onto her shoulders. She hits her one wing angel like finisher, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. Syuri is now your double champion. So big shocking win. One of the most surprising wins of the entire show to me, as Syuri defeats Saya Kamitani, who has been this dominant force of Joshi Wrestling, the biggest star in Joshi Wrestling, Tokyo Sports MVP, but she drops the strong women's title to Syuri, who continues her reign as the 2-time IWGP Women's Champion, and now she is a double champion sitting on top of Joshi Wrestling as a double champion for the IWGP and NJPW Strong. This was a brilliant matchup. These two ladies went balls to the wall, full throttle. It got just over 12 minutes, so good amount of time. I wish they would have got even more time because I think this would have been even better than that. And I might be the high one on this one. I gave this 4.25 stars. I thought this was one of the best matches of the entire show. J-News, what did you think?
I had no issue with the match. I thought the match was great. I thought it was fantastic. I wasn't aware of what was going on outside of the match with Saya Kamitani. So I wanted to bring that up because I in my head when the finish happened, I was like, this is a choice. And
but she's banged up because of the Dream Queendom match.
Right. So according to what Michael Lewis is saying in the chat, according Saya's concussed. If that's the case, you shouldn't have been wrestling, for one. Secondarily, for all intents and purposes, I think because she is the hot hand, right? She is the boat. She's the wave that's been rising all the freaking ships in Joshi Wrestling and Japanese wrestling overall. For her to lose this match, I figured something must be up at the end of the day. And this is not to throw shade at Syuri. Syuri's fantastic. She's great. I just thought from a decision standpoint, I was a little bit confused because I didn't know what was going on until I found out after the fact. So with all of that being said, like I said, fantastic match. Syuri now gets to be double champion, strong women's champion, IWGP women's champion. They said something during commentary that stuck with me that I wanted to talk about. They kept on saying, we hope Syuri gets to defend her championship before All-Star Grand Queendom, which is in April, right? And I had the same issue with when Mayu Iwatani was IWGP Women's Champion. This is supposed to be an internationally defended championship, and they don't ever necessarily leave Japan. Syuri got her first taste of the States last year, before she went on injury rehab and stuff like that and surgery. I feel like if they're up for it, and if she's up for it, which I think she might be, it would behoove her and Stardom to defend that championship internationally. If they're not going to have her in any sort of mainline storyline in Stardom for the time being, they need the exposure, one, and they need to continue to ride the wave that they're on from that particular aspect. With Saya taking time off, because that's also something that she talked about in her post-match comments, that she'll be taking a break. Due to
she's only taking a break for a month. She's going to be back in February to defend the World of Stardom Championship against Starlight Kid.
Yeah. So, she's still taking the break. It's necessary at the end of the day and all that. And yeah, it was the decision that threw me off, but I didn't know what was going on, basically. So that was more or less where I was at with it. But now that I know what's going on, I just hope that, like I said, Syuri gets to defend this internationally in between time. Saya gets to recover from this whole concussion thing, because they need to ride this. They need to ride this wave that they're on. And I'm the ladies that are still at Stardom now can definitely continue to ride that wave as well. But Kamitani is their big star, and Syuri is going to be able to put on great matches. I don't necessarily know who else they'll be highlighting or spotlighting. Obviously SLK has her match in February versus Saya and stuff like that. I know a lot of the young girls they're really trying to push and get behind. So we'll see. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I didn't have issue with the match. I thought it was a great match. I just got a little confused with the outcome at the end of the day. So that's one of the main critiques I had about the booking, should I say, but I didn't know what was going on beforehand.
Sonal, what did you think about Syuri versus Saya?
So I said Syuri to win, just because I thought for the bounce, I was like, everyone else is voting for Kamitani. I was like, let me be different. So when she won, I was like, I didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, like J-News, it's like once the news, because I think it was straight after on her post match, she said she was taking a break. I was like, okay, that makes sense, because it was a great match. I always say this, and I know because people are gonna probably at some point gonna come at me like, why don't you just buy the Stardom subscription? Because every time you see a Stardom match, you say, wow, Stardom is so good. Yes, I understand this. Yes, every time Stardom have a showcase match on a New Japan show, I say it's great. This was no exception. There was a little bit of interference, there's a little bit of hate, but I can't complain, because when you've got House of Torture, it's like when that match...
Oh yeah, someone just tripping someone is very tame in comparison to what House of Torture would do in two different matches on this show.
Like when I was during that match, I actually tweeted, I was like, well, Stardom have hate, House of Torture is New Japan, you got 2000X for Noah, and then Damnation in DDT for anyone, and then Tokyo Joshi just has Rainbow and Sunshines. They don't have a heel team. There's no heels in Tokyo Joshi. But yeah, I didn't mind the interference, because like you said, it was very minimal compared to what we'll speak about with House of Torture. It was fast, it was furious, it was... I understand it was quite low, but actually I want this to be the start, because again, guys, remember, this was aired on television. Okay, this is huge, because this means that people don't have to pay. People don't have to be subscribed, and they can flick the channel if they've got nothing else to do on a Sunday, and they will see these wrestlers, and they'll go, oh, these two women, maybe I'll see for Stardom. Or do you know what I mean? It's similar, even with like having Chris Brookes, like Takeshi. The importance of it being on TV, was it TV Asahi? Or like, I've been saying TV Asahi, and I don't know if I've just been making this up.
I think it is TV Asahi.
The importance of having on that should not be underestimated, because I know that a lot of people are like, oh, the time, the placement, but actually anyone on this card, this is a big chance for them. and they did amazing. The match, oh, flicking everything. I'm that passionate about it that I'm causing chaos. It was so good, and I'm gonna bring it up again, and I'm saying this every time. New Japan, watch Stardom, watch their entrances, watch their ring gear. We need an upgrade, right? Because seriously, they put it to shame every time.
You ain't on this level, bro. You ain't on this level like them.
Like Tanahashi's obviously great. His ring gear is always great. But come on. You should have got the Stardom designer to do something. It needed sparkles. It needed pizzazz. And that's what the Stardom women's gear get. I also like the contrast of obviously Kamitani was in black and Syuri was in white. I love stuff like that. Stuff that's like with the details of aesthetics. I thought it was so pleasing.
It's simple stuff, but it goes a long way. It goes a long way to tell the story for people who aren't knowledgeable about the people involved as well. You can clearly see who's the babyface, who's the heel, just by their outfits.
And that's what we were mentioning earlier with the whole WWE and thing. WWE, to tell a story, Western fans assume you need to be on the mic. No, you don't. It can be the smallest. Yes, someone might go, you're looking too deep into it. No. Because people don't understand how much your eyes take in, how much things are impacted. You see white, you see black, you see even Kamitani's makeup. You see that, and you know that she's meant to be the heel, and the other one is meant to be, and that Syuri is meant to be. Small things that just that's gone from bashing on New Japan's costume to be basically being like, this is what I love about Japanese wrestling. It's the small things that tell a story, and that for example, on this show, again off topic, there was 2 people who did promos, Tsuji and obviously the Tanahashi thing, because that's what it's need. Normally on a New Japan show you only get one person at the end. Japanese wrestling is about being able to tell a story in the match, and again this did it, because even me, as someone who doesn't watch Stardom regularly, I understood the narrative of this story.
We got Call Me Mr. Bondo, who says Stardom is the best Joshi on God's green earth. Stardom is the best women's wrestling on God's green earth. Like, period. Like, I love the women's division in WWE. I don't always love their booking, but I love the talent that they have. I love the talent in AEW. A lot of times I don't like their booking, but I love people like Timeless Toni Storm, Willow Nightingale, Mercedes Moné, Chris Statlander, Athena. I love so many of those girls in AEW, but it just pales in comparison to Stardom and the way they make their stars feel so big, the stories that they tell. Their booking is not always the greatest, but when the bell rings, they are the best when it comes to women's wrestling in the world.
Yeah, I can't disagree there. I think a lot of the women's promotions need their fair share of love, but Stardom is definitely on top of it. Tokyo Joshi Pro right behind it at the end of the day. Me personally, this is an opinion, it's not a fact at the end of the day. I've never been able to connect with Marigold. I just haven't. So
my one exception, and this has only been since the month of May of last year, I will watch Marigold if there's a Mayu matchup that I need to watch. Like, I just watched their New Year show, New Year Dream, because it had Mayu Iwatani versus Ohara, and that was a great match, terrific matchup that those 2 women had, and I heard a lot of great things about it, so I went out my way and watched it. It was a great match. I might watch the main event as well because I heard things about that, but there's only like 1 or 2 matches that I'll watch from Marigold. But I can the All-Star Dream, the Dream Queendom show from last Monday, I watched that whole show because Stardom has so many women that you can love and enjoy. The first match had Syuri in a tag team matchup against SLK and Azumi. I love all 3 of those ladies. I loved Megan Bain and Bozilla going at it, and they also had Suzuki going at it with Micah. Those are all 4 of those ladies. I like them. I love Rena, who's this girl that's only like 20 years old, but it seems like she's gonna be the next breakout star for the promotion. I love the
problem I have with Joshi wrestlers, right? The thing I hate the most, these young girls are so goddamn talented. Like, I'm like, what am I doing with my life at the age of 29? I see this when I do Tokyo Joshi. They've got teenagers debuting. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, man. Women's wrestling is at not at a fever pitch, right? I think it's in a good place. I also wanted to send a shout out to the UK women's wrestling promotion, Pro Wrestling Eve. Those ladies do fantastic work. I love.
I plan on going to the O2 show in March.
Oh man, brother, tell me how that goes, man. I have a big fandom for a lot of the girls who participate in Eve. At the end of the day, shout out to those girls and those ladies over there. But Stardom, man, keep an eye on those ladies over there. Keep an eye on the freelancers, man. Unagi Sayaka, Sari, Iroha. Keep an eye on the freelancers, man, because they do a great job, great work over in Japan as well. And whenever they cross whatever bridges and ponds and oceans that they do when they perform elsewhere, and always a shout to the Mexican women's wrestlers over at CMLL and AAA. I'll give them their due. So
their women's division ain't
it's not strong. It hasn't been strong in a while, but they deserve credit because they put in the
CMLL though. I love La Catalina. I love Persephone. Like, yeah, they got some. Olympia's really great. She's been getting
Olympia's
some
been at Stardom.
In Stardom, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's been in Stardom as Miss Windsor. She just made her debut at Stardom.
Made her Stardom debut
recently as well. So shouts to them. So and shouts to the Sendai girls, man. The ladies over at Sendai.
Yes, they need love too.
Yeah, man. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, there's so many great wrestlers in especially in Joshi in Japan right now. But we got to go to the next matchup. It was 10-man tag team action. The unaffiliated War Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Shingo Takagi, Drilla Maloney, and Hiromu Takahashi versus the United Empire, Callum Newman, the Great Old Khan, Honore making his return, Andrade El Idolo, who looked incredible shape. Oh my God, this man's a monster.
Sorry, I just want to quickly, when you say this, because obviously I was watching him today at New Year's Dash, and I said this, because I haven't watched Andrade in ages, right? Holy God. That man cut. I was like, he did like a moonsault off the rope today, and I was like, whoa. It's like, whoa, Andrade. Well, you've been hiding WWE for too long. Why are you doing this?
Hey, he's balling out, and we'll talk about what he did at New Year's Dash as well. But the 10-man tag, X was none other than Jake motherfucking Lee.
They knew what to do, SP3.
The chat knew, our chat on our preview said this. They said Jake Lee would probably be X, and we ran with it, and we said it as well. So it was Jake Lee. I have to mention that David Finlay once again had the machine gun, and all I got to say is boss dog.
It got upgraded, he said.
Upgraded machine gun. Early on, we get a great exchange between Andrade and Gabe Kidd, which was a preview of what we would see at New Year's Dash. Spoiler alert there. Andrade with a twisting plancha to the outside. Gabe hits a crazy little top rope dive of his own as well. Then we get Honore in here with Shingo Takagi, and they rekindle their rivalry with one another that they had over the Never Openweight Championship. Honore now has basically a hair patch at the back of his head. He's not completely bald anymore. He said, I got my head cracked, so I need some hair somewhere. So I'm only going to leave it on the back of my head like a rat tail. They go at it for a bit. They have a Never Openweight exchange with one another. I have to mention that Honore slimmed down quite a bit as well. That should be mentioned. Okan breaks up Takagi time, but then we get some Takagi time as the War Dragons work with one another. They hit some nice little double teams. Then we get probably the most aggressive of anyone in this matchup. Anyone battling out was David Finlay and Callum Newman. They just go at it. Newman was a fucking blur. Whenever he runs the ropes, it's just ridiculous. Finlay hits a big backbreaker. He lays in punches on the United Empire leader. Then we get Jake Lee tags in. Finlay reverses a chokeslam into a stunner. Then Hiromu comes in, and this matchup just got even better for me because the Hiromu and Finlay dynamic is gold. Like New Japan needs
SP3. It's Hiromu and Finfin.
Hiromu and Fin using each other as weapons is hilarious. Hiromu tags in and he uses Finley as a weapon. I just wrote in my notes. I was like, I love their dynamic with one another. We get a dope ass exchange between Drilla and Newman, ending with a cool transition into the Drilla killer on Callum. Then Finley power bombs a Hiromu over the top rope onto a pile of everyone at ringside. But then Hiromu breaks up Finley trying to go up top for a dive, and he hits a superplex on Finley on top of everyone outside. Hiromu tries to celebrate, but then Jake Lee recovers and he lays out to Takahashi with a big boot. He brings him in the ring and he hits the face break shot for the 1-2-3 to give United Empire the victory. I had a good time with this. I thought this was a good 10-man tag. I gave it 3.5 stars. Post-match, we get someone with a mask comes in, and I was like, that's Francisco Akira. I don't know why you're wearing a mask, because I immediately knew that was you. Francisco Akira comes in, he super kicks Hiromu Takahashi, laying him out, and then he removes the mask to reveal that he is back. He is back from injury, and United Empire is whole again. United Empire is not only whole, but they're back in full force with everyone. JAY, Great Khan, Andrade, Jake Lee, the newest member, Callum Newman up top as the leader, Anare's back, and Francisco Akira from the most unlucky stable to looking like the strongest and longest running stable after New Year's Dash. United Empire here, looking good here. So, like I said, I give it 3.5 stars. Sonal, what did you think about the 10-man tag?
You know what? To all the haters who were saying, for fuck's sake, Jake Lee, there was a pop there. You know what? There was a reaction when Jake Lee came out. And you got to remember that actually there is a link there, because obviously Jake Lee was a member of the War Dogs. And it turns out that if you have a tendency to betray people, you might want to join the War Dogs and then betray them, because everyone has betrayed them at this point. I really enjoyed this match. Welcome back, Hanare. Welcome back, Hanare. It's felt like forever since we've seen him. Like, how long is it? Is it a year?
I think so. No, yeah, I think so. Like nearly a year, yeah.
Yeah, almost a year. The interactions were great again. Like you said, SP3, Hiromu and Fin together. It's something like it probably ended up being, if I had a list of my favorite things of New Japan 2025, their tag team is probably towards the top. Because it's just pure joy. You've got two of the people with the most opposite personalities just working so well. I loved seeing Shingo and Drilla back together. The Kita brothers, my favorite thing. But again, there was just something new and added for the Empire. Because as SP3 says, if you want to talk about the fucking unluckiest faction in the bloody history of New Japan, it's the Empire. And they just seem so revitalized. I want to get a shout out because I saw this picture today of a close-up of Jake Lee. Jake Lee had a green contact lens in. Like, the camera didn't pick that up, but a fan posted a picture. And I thought, yeah, it's a nice touch because, like, that's the thing. Some factions tend to not really have any cohesion thing, but the Empire always do so well with just the little pops of green where they can. And yeah, I mean, I think we all assumed that Empire was going to win. I know people were like, why did Hiromu get pinned? Hiromu was the only junior in that match. Like, he was the only real person that could get pinned, especially if you think about, if you watch New Year's Dash, what they're setting up. So, yeah. And also, yeah, I mean, bless Akira. He didn't need the mask, but I thought it was quite cute. He was like coming out. He's like, oh, look at me. I'm a badass heel now. But then he took the mask off and he was still adorable. So. But shout out to Akira. I have to.
What did you think about this one, J-News?
I thought the match was decent. Yet again, the booking decision here made all the sense in the world as per the Empire winning. I was not a fan of the Jake Lee being X thing. He doesn't move the needle for me. Last week when we did the preview and the chat brought it up, my immediate visceral reaction was, fuck no. And when he came out, I said to myself, why are you people doing this to me? right now. Look, man, he's the Judas of Japanese professional wrestling, if we want to put it correctly, because he betrays everyone in sight. But how good is he really? Right? I didn't really see much from him in this match.
No,
and he was.
I was wondering why Andrade didn't get the win.
Yeah, I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And for all intents and purposes, this did not go over with me as well as New Japan wanted it to. So to whoever made this decision, I just want to say that this was lackluster. That's all I got. I'm gonna keep it PC for the time being until I see more. Shouts to Callum Newman. Hanare looked great. Okan still Okan.
Okan needs to sort Okan's shit out. Okay.
Okan still Okan.
Hey, Okan is no longer the worst member of the United Empire.
Absolutely not. So there's that.
I'll shout them for that. Anything's happening there.
Absolutely there. What was I gonna say? Andrade looked terrific. I hope 2026 is the year of Andrade, man. Lyric said it best on Twitter. I just read something that she wrote and whatnot. Like he's in a prime position to be like the biggest international wrestling superstar in 2026 if he plays his cards right. So shouts to Andrade. He looked terrific. He looked terrific for the clips that I saw of New Year's Dash, because I haven't watched the actual show yet. But here for Wrestle Kingdom, he looked great. Yeah, man. This went the way I thought it was going to go. As per the War Dogs and unaffiliated side of everything,
we're going to get to that. If you're going to talk about what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about all things.
I was going to talk about Finley's machine gun prop.
Oh, okay.
They added smoke. I think that was the thing. They added that. They added some smoke. Okay, that was that. But everybody did good, man. So no one let down in this match outside of Jake Lee. So there you go.
Can I just give like an extra, like this will be obviously thing, an extra shout out to Callum, because do you know what? The last year Callum has been doing great things. Like Callum joined the Empire as like the little bright-eyed little young lion who was just like the little Ospreay, and since he came back from his injury, like he's just impressed me so much, and this gradual heel turn that we have seen has been so natural. Just the way that it's like, it's not forced. He's just there, like, you know what, this faction is shit. And I just like, and do you know what I mean? Like some people when they turn heel, it just feels very ingenuine. But actually, Callum has taken things that genuinely would piss people off. Like we can tell me that everyone's leaving. Then they were almost in the World Tag League fight, then they didn't. Then everyone got injured. Then they had that whole shit with TJP. Like, that's enough to drive any man crazy. The man's only like 23. He's going through a midlife crisis. Existential crisis at 23.
That's what I said this, I don't know, months ago or whatever the case is. Keep your eyes on Callum Newman, man. Mm-hmm. People keep on freaking trying to shade me for this shit. But like, yo, keep your eyes on that kid. He's gonna be a problem, man. Yeah. He's definitely gonna be a problem. But I also wanted to say that it is interesting to the Michael, I think it's Michael Allen Lewis, talking about Jake Lee as a Takashi Miike character. The facial expressions were dumb. I understand where you're coming from, Michael. I watched that man's movies. I'm a fan. But god damn it, man. I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know what that was. Was he supposed to be the representative of Old Boy in a sense? Because with the weird facials? I don't know. You know, it's just not. I'm not rocking with it, guys. I'm just not.
Mr. Towns saying Andrade is ready for that AEW return too. It should be mentioned he was announced as AEW's Andrade. Yes. So we already see what's going on here. And
they didn't give a shit. They were just like, oh, AEW's Andrade. They didn't even hide it. It was so funny.
Mr. Towns is too much. It's too much to discuss here now. Just put TJP United Empire Fallout on Google.
Yeah.
And it will tell you everything.
It was messy as fuck. It was around the time that Jeff Cobb had like left for WWE and some things came out, and the problem is TJP did it thinking it would make him look good, but it didn't. It actually left a really sour taste in a lot of people's mouths of him.
And now he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
Next up was the number 1 contenders match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. You had El Desperado, Kosei Fujita. No, El Desperado, Kosei Fujita, Taiji Ishimori, and Sho. Before the match starts, Doki comes out and says that this is the Doki Gate and it can begin. All I wrote in my notes was coward. He's a fucking coward because he didn't want to defend the title here. Or Gato just sucks. More the latter. Kosei Fujita comes out with a new superstar entrance theme and video. I like it. And I was like, yeah, of course. You have to give him the win, right? Right? We get a hot start with Ishimori. He does a big dive on Sho. All the baby faces jump Sho at the beginning of the matchup. Fujita has Sho locked in a submission, so Despi and Ishimori come in to make sure he doesn't tap out or say he submits until they break it up themselves. Despi and Ishimori go at it for a bit. Ishimori busts out a moonsault double knees. I was like, he's been watching some Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm impressed. He follows with a bloody cross, and then he goes for the cover, but Sho slams Fujita on top of the referee, and here comes the House of Torture nonsense. You get Kanemaru and Doki. They come in and they jump all the baby faces. Doki hits Ishimori in the face with the pipe. Then you get Robbie Eagles and Robbie X. The Robbies are here. They come in to help their tag team partners against the House of Torture. Then Kukai comes out of nowhere and he's helping out Despi here, his tag team partner. Everyone hits dives onto the House of Torture to take them out of play, ending with Robbie X hitting a twisting dive to the outside. Then you get Sho. He hits Fujita with a pan. He then hits him with the shock arrow. He goes for a cocky cover, but Despi comes in and punches him right in the jaw. He then picks up Sho. He hits a tiger driver into the Pinche Loco for the win to become the number 1 contender. Yes, Despi, who has been the ace in the face of the junior heavyweight division for 5 years now. He wins this number 1 contenders matchup to face Doki. That's a match I haven't seen. Gato. I don't know who hates who more. Me, I don't know if I hate Gato's booking more than Gato hates juniors. I don't know. It's either one or the other. It's either I hate his booking so much that it's more than he hates the juniors, or he hates the juniors more than any. This was the worst match on the card for me. 1.5 stars. J-News.
So coming into this match, I had thought that at least the least they could do with this match is let everybody shine, right? Given that there wasn't that many matches on the main card, right? They didn't even give me that. This match was not long at all. Then add on top of that you had more House of Torture shenanigans, right? Book on top of that the fact that you gave Desperado the win. I have nothing against Despi.
And made Fujita look like a chump before that.
I have nothing against Despi. I love Despi. The wrong man won this match. Thirdly, should I say, and most importantly, they had Doki sitting at a table near ringside. They gave him his own entrance before this match even happened. I was waiting for the baby faces to jump off that ramp and drop kick him at that table, and it didn't even happen. What is this? Why do they hate the juniors so much at this point? I don't understand what this is. I didn't give a crap about this match when it was happening, let alone the fact that they weren't even given time, and the wrong man won. You're supposed to be taking the company and its championships and its divisions into the future. Kosei Fujita's right there. He won a Super Juniors tournament. He was a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team champion. Actually, he's current IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. But
he ain't never seeing that singles title ever.
Dude, I don't get this, man. I don't get it at all. I didn't like it. I agree with you, SP3. Worst match of the night. Easily the most forgettable match of the night. On top of that, and it's tough to ever say that about juniors on big shows, because those guys always go freaking balls to the wall when it comes to stuff, because they know they have a limited amount of time, and it did not come off this way here at Wrestle Kingdom 20. So yeah, really down on this. Hated it.
Sonal.
I said my piece on the preview of my anger, and I can't just blame Gato, because I've also heard that Tiger Mask and Dick Togo are very big on the junior booking specifically. So I'm just gonna blame all the bookers for this. The only props Robbie X and Robbie Eagles and Kukai probably got a slight Tokyo Dome pay. They got a bit of a payday because they made an appearance. Because I was like before, literally like when the match started, I was like, oh, Robbie Eagles should be on this card. Probably should have been in there instead of Show, but yeah, I don't know. Somebody mentioned, and they said if they'd have just swapped and put the tag match on Wrestle Kingdom and then moved that fucking Contenders match to today, then I think it just wouldn't have been great, the match today, like if they'd have had it, because Despy shouldn't have won. But I don't know. I mean, like the show today kind of like, okay, they did something to rid it, but like you said, it was like hit in the face. Like, why is Doki out there? But you ain't. I thought, when it ended quickly, I thought, okay, they're gonna surprise us. They're gonna say, and now Doki is gonna defend the title, and I was like, yeah.
I thought Doki would attack him and say, oh, we're gonna have the title match right now.
Yeah. No. So the worst match, which fucking pisses me off, because everyone knows how I'm the biggest advocate, and obviously after last year I thought they'd want to do something, because they had a great tag match, but obviously the junior match got not ruined because Doki didn't intend to break his arm or something, but I thought that they'd want to give a showcase to that, and they didn't. But again, shout out for the Robbies and Kukai. It was nice to see them. Yeah, Robbie Squared and Kukai. They were the highlight. Oh no, the highlight. Fujita's new ring gear. I really liked it. Yeah, he changed up. It was nice. Yeah, that was the highlight. Fujita's entrance and ring gear.
Why do they do this to us?
Designer.
Why do they do this to us? Why does Gato hate us? We must put all this heat on Gato, because you're the last hand. Like, I'm not gonna blame a bad storyline in AEW on RJ City or Will Washington. I'm gonna blame it on Tony Khan.
Can I just say this, Gato? If a Gato, the bookers don't want to book the junior division, fly me out. I will take full responsibility for the junior division if you can't be asked with it. Because I have so much love for the junior division that you seemingly do not have.
Not at all.
So fly me over. I'll buy a ticket. If you got money problems, I will fly myself over. I will do it for free if you need me to. Gato. That's how serious I am about this shit.
He can't be bothered. He don't give a fuck. We got Big Man Dogs. Of course you would. He said I enjoyed it for the wrong reasons.
Also, I love the fact that Uncle Nobu had 2 Tokyo Dome appearances. Did he get twice the pay? He always have seen the Ranbo, then he made an appearance. He's just trying to get as much money as he can at this point.
King of the North saying he can't wait. He can look forward to Desperado getting his title shot at Shinsuke face instead of the big event that same weekend. That is what Despy would do. That is what Despy would do. Up next, we would get the lineup for the rest of the year. February 11th, New Beginning in Osaka. We got March 6th, the anniversary show. March 20th and 21st is the New Japan Cup Finals. April 4th is Sakura Genesis. April 25th, you got Wrestling Red Zone in Hiroshima. May 3rd and 4th is Dontaku. June 7th, the Best of the Super Junior Final. June 14th, Dominion. But the big ones were the U.S. shows they announced here, as they announced the G1 Climax Tournament will once again be beginning in the United States, as at the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois, the famous arena where the first All In took place back in 2018. AEW World's End that just happened in December, that happened there as well. June 11th, the G1 Climax comes to the United States in Chicago. Big news there. They also announced that New Japan Pro Wrestling will once again be a part of WrestleMania weekend in April in Las Vegas, where they will bring the Despy Invitational to Las Vegas. Def Vegas Invitational, Despy produced show. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see a couple of death matches. And then finally, they announced that the G1 Climax Finals will take place on August 14th and 15th. So exciting news for the fans in the United States. I don't know if we're getting Royal Quest though, so no, I'm sorry.
All I know is that the Sakura Genesis show is the day I arrive in Japan. Ooh. And the venue is 20-minute walk from my hotel. Now, okay. I am thinking of buying tickets and praying that they have no issues with the planes. So people, send me all the love that I will get these tickets and that everything is going to go well so I can go to the Sakura Genesis show.
Okay. I'm hoping so for you. That would be awesome.
It's so risky. Literally, it happened and my mum was upset. I was like, Mom, we're going to this show. She went, but it's on the day we arrive. I was like, I know. But I always say I'd rather have the tickets, and if I miss it, I miss it, than me being there and not having the tickets. So everyone, wish me luck. Because if there's no Royal Quest this year, I need my fix somewhere.
King of the North saying if the anniversary show was this weekend, we'd get Tsuji versus Doki, and I think I'm in for that. I mean, hey, if you like it, I love it for you.
That's the kind of thing that you're into.
Kobe Mr. Bonda says, I already know Phil Lindsay is pulling up for the G1 in the Chi-Town. I already told Stat King he needs to go to that show. Go to the G1 in Chicago. Lyric said she was going to go to that G1 in Chicago. So it seems like the Windy City riot is not going to happen, but instead you get a G1. So kind of an upgrade. But let's get into the last two matches on this card. Never Openweight Championship matchup. Evil defended against Olympic gold medalist Aaron Wolf. And we came into this with the most questions of any matchup on this card. And instantly, those questions were answered with the entrance. As Aaron Wolf comes out, he's wearing full-on judo gear. And he tears off the judo gear to reveal he is wearing the all-black Young Lion gear. And this gets a huge reaction from this Tokyo Dome crowd. He comes out with the shaved head. Evil is in his full-on aura farming mode in the Tokyo Dome back-to-back years. He's got a live guitar performance of his theme song. Good stuff there. We get a forearm exchange to start off. The crowd is hot into this one. Of course, the House of Torture is here to be the House of Torture, but the crowd is into this one from the immediate start. Everything that Wolf does gets a big reaction. He hits a shoulder block. He hits a big elbow drop. That got big reactions. Evil exposes the turnbuckle and he throws Wolf into it. He goes for 4 straight covers on Wolf, but Wolf is able to kick out every single time, and every single one of those kickouts got a big reaction. We get a huge big pop for the first judo throw that he does, and then the entire House of Torture except for Don Fale come into the ring and he judo throws all of them to big reactions as well. Evil uses that distraction to throw powder into his eyes. He then takes him down and locks him into the Darkness Scorpion. The crowd is rallying behind Wolf to get to the ropes, and he finally is able to do it to the roar of the Tokyo Dome crowd. At this point, he hits a big snap power slam, and I'm like, this guy might have something here. Then he busts out an Olympic slam. He gets a near fall on that one. He slams down Evil. He goes to the top rope, and the motherfucker hits on high fly flow. I was like, okay, what the fuck? This kid got it. This kid's got it. House of Torture pulled the referee on the cover. They pull him out of the ring. Dick and Show are in the ring to cheat, but Yano, Wato, and Yo, they come in to basically counteract that and fight them off, but the House of Torture numbers get the better of them. Don Fale is in the ring. He tosses a table at Wolf's head. He then sets it up, and he hits his big second rope splash through Wolf, the same splash that took Finley out for a couple of months. They're trying to take this young man out in his first goddamn matchup. Evil picks him up. He hits a big lariat. 1, 2. Wolf kicks out at 2.99. The crowd is going crazy at this point. Evil picks up Wolf. He sets him up for everything is evil, but Wolf reverses into a judo throw. He takes him down. He locks him into a reverse triangle choke. He makes Evil pass out, and Wolf is your new never open weight champion. Oh my God. This was the best Big Show match, Big Show debut matchup that I have seen since Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 34. This was the judo beast coming in and doing a seamless transition into pro wrestling. I have not seen anything like this in a good 7-8 years. Aaron Wolf might just be the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I said on Twitter, I'll say it here. This motherfucker should have went backstage and say, follow that, because he showed the fuck out. This was awesome. I gave this match 3 3/4 stars. My God. I couldn't believe this. I was blown away by Aaron Wolf's performance, how he looked, how he presented himself, how he carried himself. He felt like a star here, despite having the black trunks like a young lion. This was amazing. J-News, what did you think?
All right. So when we got to this point in the show, like SP3 said, I was a little bit worried, concerned, nervous. Didn't necessarily know as to how this was going to go. When I saw it all unfold from beginning to end, entrance and everything else in between, the pomp, the circumstance, I was like, okay, cool. We got something going here. And then the House of Torture shenanigans were involved, which I figured that was going to happen. Aaron Wolf did his judo throws and everything else in between. He showed some good life and vigor, some good energy. He had the Tokon. He had the fighting spirit. I appreciate that. I, for one, didn't understand the decision to make him the never open weight champion. For the homie, the King of the North in the chat, he wants me to apologize for my take the other day for the whole finger poke of doom thing. I'm not going to apologize for that. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because Gato gave me no faith in this match and how he would book it. That's why I made the commentary that I did. Did I think that this match went way better than I expected it to go? Absolutely. Hell yeah, it did. Right? But let's not crown this young man yet. Right? Let's temper these expectations as for right now. He showed me something, but he didn't show me a lot. So let's take this for what it is at the end of the day. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. It was cool. It was huge because of what he means to the nation of Japan as a whole. But from a pure pro wrestling standpoint of it, he showed me a bit. He didn't show me a lot. So there's still a lot to come with Aaron Wolf. I want to see as to what it unfolds to be. But it was a lot of the chicanery and the House of Torture shit and the smoke and mirrors shit. I need more at the end of the day. It was cool. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was cool. But it wasn't for me at the end of the day. That's all.
Hater.
That's fine.
I'll say it for the chat. Hater. I was wrong. I said he was going to be gay. I said he was looking like Gable Steveson. He proved me wrong.
Whoa. Yeah.
I wanted him to land in the middle. I was like, it was feeling like he was either going to be Kurt Angle or Gable Steveson, and he landed right in the middle, and he was much closer to the Kurt Angle side than the Gable Steveson side. So I can admit when I was wrong. This kid got it.
I need to see more. I can't say that he's got it because there was a lot of fluff in all this shit. So we'll see as
I'm watching
week
him.
on.
I'm watching him in his
Yeah.
performance. He did everything right. He did everything he needed to do. That's all I can ask for. And it was the biggest debut possible. The lights were on brightest.
Sure.
And the fact that he gave us a good matchup with fucking Evil, I'm giving him all the praise. He's got it. Until proven otherwise, he got it from me.
Yeah, I can't go that far. I can't go that far. But hey, I respect it, SP3. I respect it.
Sonal.
You're muted. You're not saying anything.
You're muted, Sonal.
I was out there.
There you go.
Bolton, like, please take some notes. Because I get where J-News is coming from. We don't actually see much. But already he's got an aura that Bolton could only dream of. That pop that man got, the way he made his way to the ring, the way he threw those men across the ring. I already am like, you know what? Even if you go downhill from here, at least you gave us one good match, with charisma. That's more than Bolton Oleg's given us. That sounds really mean.
So I'll agree with you there, Sonal. Like the charisma and the energy that he brought to this match. And yeah, we'll continue to shit on Bolton Oleg for the rest of the fucking time.
Yeah, someone called me out as a hater, and it's like, I don't hate the guy. I just want more. Like,
yeah, man.
He's pointing me in every way.
I'll give Aaron Wolf that. Aaron. I'll give him that. He had good energy. He had good vibes. He brought the charisma. I will give him that. But outside of that, I need to see more. So yeah.
Hey, I was the first one immediately after the matchup. I said I made the Ronda Rousey comparison. I said this was the best big show debut since Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 34. So I don't need a free invite to the Wolf FC. I joined the Wolf FC at the end of this matchup. I joined it. I was like, nah, punch my ticket. I was live for Ronda Rousey's debut at WrestleMania 34. That was an out-of-body experience. And I know there was some people in the Dome who had an out-of-body experience for Aaron Wolf. From the entrance to his performance, this was aura personified and a guy that knew all the old-school tricks to do in this matchup, and he did it well.
Hold on. I will say this. That crowd lit up during that match. The matches before didn't hit the peak of this during its entrance.
But I've never heard that kind of reaction anyway for like some veterans. Never mind a guy who's not even had a match.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was nuts in there. And Big Man Dog's blasphemy. You never put Aaron Wolf in the same sentence as Hashimoto. That is blasphemy, sir. I don't want to hear that ever again in my life. No.
He said he has that fat man aura few have. We just need to grow his hair out again and get him some pants. And we got Hashimoto 2.0.
Oh, that's blasphemy, sir. No, I will not have that. No, sir. Absolutely not.
No. Michael Allen Lewis, there is a difference. He said, you right, J-News, we need standards. Fools putting Joe Hendry over ZSJ on lists off of aura alone. Joe Hendry does not have fucking aura. He has charisma. There is a difference between aura and charisma. Charisma is just having that kind of like that likability, that connection with the crowd. Like, aura is just another level above charisma. Aura is just you come out and the fans go crazy and you haven't done anything. Like Joe Hendry, he does have to do stuff. He has to do the turn. He has to sing his songs. That's how he gets the reaction. That's how he makes connection. Aaron Wolf just had to take off his judo gear and he got the biggest pop of the whole night to that point.
I'll give him that, man. But like I said, it got the fans buzzing. And it led into the rest of the night. So I'll give him that.
Yeah. Kingdom Nurse says someone said Aaron Wolf needs the Kenzo Sasaki shorts, and I'm 100% with them. Hey. Yeah, this is just the start. Yeah, he's gonna get some real gear, but I like the fact that he went.
Lion shtick, isn't it? That's the whole reason why there was such a big pop. Is that after Evil was like, if you lose, then you've got to shave, and then you can't wear judo. And he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna go from the start. I'm gonna be respectful of the Young Lion system.
Great stuff. Great performance. Awesome debut for Aaron Wolf. But then it was the double title match time, semi-main event. Konosuke Takeshita, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, defending against IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion Yota Tsuji, also defending. Winner takes all. We get the big-time superstar entrance from both men, but especially Takeshita, who gets a full-on highlight package showing all of his big moments since joining with New Japan Pro Wrestling 2 years ago. Takeshita is wearing the red band on his arm, and that is a tribute to Shinsuke Nakamura. He would reveal in his post-show interview, his post-match interview, that Shinsuke Nakamura gave it to him. He says that since he couldn't be here, he wanted him to represent his share in the matchup, and boy, oh boy, did Takeshita do that indeed. We get a feeling out process early on between the two men until Tsuji slaps Takeshita, wanting some more aggression from him. Then we get some body blows and a Tejeras from Takeshita, from Tsuji, basically going after the ribs of Takeshita, getting him warmed up for the Gene Blaster. Takeshita is finally able to get an advantage when he hits the Takeshita line. We get some hard strikes exchange from both men briefly before we get some chops from the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. A knee to the gut to Takeshita once again gives Tsuji control. We get a shoulder block and a big splash by Tsuji, and that gets his first near fall. But Takeshita comes right back with a brain buster to give him control, and he starts working over the neck of Tsuji, getting him prepared for the either the Wagamama or the Raging Fire. Takeshita then follows with a DDT on the apron that looked hard, and that got some big boos for Takeshita here, as the crowd was firmly by the side of Tsuji in this one. He throws Tsuji into the guardrail, and then he follows with a big boot, sending him over the guardrail to the floor. Back in the ring, Takeshita grounds Tsuji for a bit. Tsuji is able to dodge a knee in the corner, but Takeshita cuts off the dive attempt with a Hurricane Rata, and then he hits a beautiful looking Tope Con Hilo to the outside, Terminator dive by Takeshita. Tsuji dodges the power drive knee. He hits the Tsuji combo, ending with the curb stomp. Then Tsuji shows off some of his Lucha Libre background with the arm drag, and then he follows with the Fosbury flop to the outside, showing his agility. Takeshita selling the ribs after a top rope double foot stomp by Tsuji gets him a near fall. Crowd is really into this one and firmly behind Tsuji at this point. We get a big strike exchange from both men that ends with a pump knee by Tsuji and then a power drive knee by Takeshita. Then Tsuji reverses the bastard driver into one of his own. He follows up with the wheelbarrow German, but Takeshita comes right back up, showing fighting spirit, and hits a Gene Blaster. Great sequence there. Takeshita sells Tsuji to get up as they start trading hard shots once again. Takeshita goes for the world-class forearm, but Tsuji catches him with another body blow. We get a faster strike exchange from both men until Tsuji sells the neck. Takeshita follows with a big world-class forearm, but Tsuji comes back with the Canadian Destroyer as we get a double down, and the crowd is fired up into this one. Takeshita with a German suplex, but Tsuji gets right back up and hits a Gene Blaster in the corner. Takeshita intercepts the Gene Blaster with a flying knee as he catches Tsuji, turns him inside out with that one. Great spot there. Then Takeshita picks up Tsuji. He can't get him up as first as Tsuji's fighting it, so he gets closer to the ropes, but he hits the Raging Fire, but Tsuji gets his foot on the rope for a great near fall. Both men exchange chops and forearms. Tsuji catches the power drive knee and power bombs Takeshita, and then he follows up with the alley-oop for the first time in a while since his Rev Pro days. Tsuji then follows. He places Takeshita on the top rope. He looks for the Guerrero special, elbows by Tsuji, and then he finally hits the Guerrero special, but Takeshita kicks out at 2. Takeshita dives the Gene Blaster and hits a German suplex, but Tsuji gets right back up and hits a knee in the corner. He tries to go for the Marlowe crash, but he gets crotched on the top rope. Takeshita then follows up with an incredible avalanche blue thunder bomb, gets a very close 2 count. We get the power drive knee by Takeshita, but Tsuji kicks out at 2.99. I just wrote in my notes at this point. I was like, this is fucking fantastic. Tsuji blocks the power drive knee. He hits him with a big headbutt right to the chin.
Then both men go head to head, showing their intensity and their fighting spirit. They both go to opposite corners, and it's like a gunslinger's battle as both men are going for their finish. We got the Wagamama by Takeshita, but Tsuji wins out. He hits the Gene Blaster, turning Takeshita into mush on the mat. Then he doesn't go for the cover. He instead applies the Boston Crab. I just went, let's fucking go. I was on my feet at this point. I'm just like, please tap out. Tap. Tsuji wrenches back. Takeshita taps out. Tsuji is your new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He is the double champion, heavyweight and global heavyweight champion. What a fucking matchup. I gave this one 5 stars. This was absolutely amazing. Both men showed out. It started slow, but boy, oh boy, did they pace this beautifully. This was just under 30 minutes. It went just over 29 minutes, but such a great matchup, man. Both guys just showing out, showing that fighting spirit. It was about resilience. It was about the fighting spirit, the pride that both men had. In the end, Tsuji going back to his young lion days, busting out the Boston Crab to win the top prize in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He always said he is NJPW's Yota Tsuji, and he proved it here by winning with the Boston Crab. He gets both titles, and boy, oh boy, did he look great with holding the 2 titles, looking like an absolute star. We get a celebratory speech where he talks about restoring the pride of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Lion Mark, and everything that he plans on doing as the champion. But unfortunately, he is Tetsuya Naito's student. So he is Tetsuya Naito in 2020. And he gets jumped by his own version of Kenta, being Jake fucking Lee. Jake Lee comes in. He attacks to Tsuji from behind. He hits the FBS in the corner, and he holds up the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, making himself the first challenger for Tsuji. Way to put a bucket of cold water on what was an amazing matchup. But like I said, 5 stars. Tsuji and Takeshita was the match of the year for at least 30 minutes. Sonal, what did you think about Tsuji and Takeshita?
Yeah, it was great. It was something that is like, certain people are very special when it comes to pro wrestling, and those two are. Those two are just in a world when they have a chemistry with each other. And this was another match that went quite a while but didn't feel like it. Like, every move had so much meaning. Every moment had meaning. And like, in particular, my favorite moment, and this is the nuances, is when Takeshita hit the move and then Tsuji put his foot on the ring, like on the ring rope. Because then because people are like, well, protect a finisher. And it protects moves because actually he's not kicked out. Tsuji is so out of energy that he can't, but he can just move his leg. And I love those little things. And I'm just going to say this, winning with that Boston Crab, I didn't know that a move like that would hit me as well. But it's just because that's become like a thing for Tsuji now. Yeah. That he is showing his New Japan pride. Because for anyone who doesn't know, DDT in the sense doesn't have a very typical Young Lions system. Do you know what I mean? There's not a dojo. You don't see the Young Lions in like black trunks doing the basic moves. So for Tsuji, that is saying, I am beating you. I am beating you as a New Japan boy. I am beating you for this New Japan title. It was magical.
Yeah, that shit. This match one made me want to rip my shirt off, just like Walker Stewart said. Like, I just want to get up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't think that's accepted in Japan. I think you might want to be careful with that, Walker.
Yeah, this was an easy, instant 5 stars. When I watched that, I watched the ending, especially with the Boston Crab. I was like, 5 stars. Yeah. 5 stars. It's like
storytelling as well. Storytelling.
Yeah, the storytelling, the psychology of Tsuji attacking the ribs to set up for the Gene Blaster and the Boston Crab, and Takeshita going after the neck to set up for the Raging Fire. And like you said, the foot on the rope, it protected the Raging Fire with that. And they set it up beautifully because he had him in the center of the ring, but he couldn't get him up. And it almost looked like they botched it, but they did that on purpose. So then when he hit the Raging Fire by the ropes, Tsuji got his foot on the ropes. And they talked about how Takeshita is really good with his ring positioning, but because he had the struggle for the Raging Fire, it made sense why he had him there in the ring. So great storytelling throughout. J-News, what did you think?
Um, so for this match, I walked in to this match, should I say, with one expectation: greatness. I wanted greatness out of this match. And I usually try to go into most things without expectation. But with the bars that Tsuji and Takeshita have set as individual competitors, for them to go into this match, have the kind of match that they did, tell the story that they did. Yes, to SP3's point, Tsuji attacking Takeshita's ribs or the midsection to set up for the Gene Blast. I took it a step further. I said to myself, Tsuji is smart. He's attacking the midsection because he knows Takeshita's an endurance guy. And if he takes that wind away from Takeshita and he doesn't have it by the end of this match, he's going to have him beat. So the story being told within that ring and in that match, yet again, they didn't have all these different video packages where they went face to face and stuff like that. They did their own individual stuff and they wrapped it all together and they made that story. But then in the ring, they told that story. The New Japan story, the Boston Crab getting the win was the chef's kiss of everything in this match. And I said to myself, these young men know exactly what it is that they're doing. The newer generation of New Japan wrestlers, and it's been announced, Tsuji re-signed and re-upped his New Japan contract, so he will be back. This is a feud that is going to carry on into the future, and I hope to see more matches out of this. This match was fantastic, 5 stars, 6.5 in the Tokyo Dome as it is right now, and the right man won because of Tsuji winning and what Tsuji promised to do and what he did do this morning was all worth it. That belt is shiny. It looks good. Version 4 is back. And we need it.
They even dropped it when they said it. Now they call it the heavyweight championship, not the world heavyweight.
Yeah. They said it right before Tsuji came out on New Year's Dash. He called him the IWGP heavyweight champion. And I took notice of that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I did as well. When the ring announcer said it, I was like, marking out a bit.
Yeah, man. I'm proud of those two guys. I knew they wouldn't let me down. I just wanted to see as to what they would deliver creatively. And they delivered high on a very, very high bar, and just can't say enough about especially since Sonal and SP3 said it best. I just wanted to add my foray in there. The post-match stuff I could do without. I'm gonna let Gato cook because we don't have a choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the problem is it makes sense because of the Naito thing. Do you know what I mean? Naito had a little bug appear after his double title match. Tsuji has a little bug appearing after his title match.
Yeah, Genesis J with a super chat donation. Thank you so much. He was talking about the 8-man tag, but I saved it for here. He said, I rolled my eyes at the Jake Lee reveal, lame as fuck. And I was happy with the Jake Lee reveal for the 8-man tag only because I predicted it after our preview on the Sports Illustrated preview with Lyric, and I knew people would get upset at it, so I thought it was excellent trolling. But yeah, I was like, damn, I wish this upon myself when he came out after Tsuji won the title. I was like, we couldn't let Tsuji have his moment. We couldn't save this shit for New Year's Dash.
Why we couldn't let Naito have his moment? Some people just don't get their moment.
So I'm gonna put this out there. I've said this to SP3 in private before, but I'm gonna put this out there into the world. I'm gonna manifest it, just like I tried to manifest the finger pull for Doom. But this is more of something that's tangible here in our podcasting space. I'm putting it out there in the world. Lyric, I'm inviting you on to an episode of our New Japan previews and reviews if you can ever make it. I'm politicking right now. At the end of the day, that's all I'm doing. I want her to join us 3 here. I respect her a lot, and I want to see how it all would go down. If time ever allots, and if she's down for the cause, then that would be cool. But yeah, the Jake Lee thing missed me with the bullshit. But like I said, we don't have a choice. We have to see as to where Gato's going with this. So we'll see.
We got another super chat donation from Genesis J. Thank you so much, Genesis J, for the support. He says, Jake attacking Tsuji, still lame as fuck. I agree.
And I should fit you this one from Big Man Dogs. He says a clip of Wolf is already the most viewed short of all time on NJPW World's YouTube channel. That's how much of a star this man is.
Yeah, man. Like the what is it? Japan's social media bubble
Pens
is
don't
so.
work. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
My pen.
She's got to go. She's got to go.
And she's like, bye.
She just wanted to let you know her pens aren't working.
I feel her so much. I feel so.
You know,
She's the best.
What was I gonna? I lost my train of thought. But hey, it is what it is at the end of the day.
Oh, we got Michael Allen Lewis who says SP3, I agree with you on Tsuji's AEW stance. Tribalism between two companies that can facilitate a match is much more interesting. Yeah. This like the whole vibe of this weekend, it makes me excited for Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door hasn't felt like New Japan versus an AEW. It's felt like two companies working together to have cool matches. Now there are people that are actually like putting 10 toes down. I'm for New Japan. Fuck AEW. I like that. I need more of that. I need energy like Tsuji. And y'all brought it up. We might as well have it here. We got the pictures. Tsuji has officially brought back the IWGP Heavyweight Championship today at New Year's Dash. He was announced as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, showing off the titles. He got into a confrontation with Jake Lee during it was a 4-on-4 tag team matchup with the United Empire. Jake Lee was holding the IWGP Heavyweight Championship after the matchup. It seems like we're setting up Tsuji versus Jake Lee for New Beginning in Osaka. But even bigger news, on par with the V4, the original, the most immaculate and beautiful title in all of pro wrestling is back, and it has been restored. So thank you, Yota Tsuji, who's already looking like the wrestler of the year just for this decision here. But he added on to it because he has now become the newest leader in New Japan Pro Wrestling, as he announced post-match in the post-match comments that the unaffiliated and War Dogs partnership alliance is now taken shape, where we are no longer LIJ, they're no longer unaffiliated, they're no longer Bullet Club War Dogs. This group of people that have come together and have aligned are now going to be under one company, and that company is the Unbound Company. So for the first time since 2013, you want to mark a new era? The Bullet Club is no more. After a 13-year run of the Bullet Club, it is no more. David Finlay, it seems like David Finlay, Shingo Takagi, Hiromu Takahashi, Gabe Kidd, Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, I guess, they're all going to be a part of Unbound Company. What do y'all think about this decision? First, with Tsuji bringing back the original V4 IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and Unbound Company taking the place of Bullet Club War Dogs and unaffiliated Sonal.
I was say, because I have to go actually, like in 2 minutes, but I did want to quickly bring up. So the belt, beautiful. Thought it was stunning. I was because when he came out, he actually hid the belt first. He just had the global title on top. So I was like, and then he came out and shown it. I was like, go. The unaffiliated. So I had a major freak out because Walker just randomly mentioned it, and then there was nothing. I was on social media. I was on the Tokyo Sports. I was on the New Japan Japanese thing. I was typing in Unfound Company, and then when it came out, and I was like, it makes sense. I actually have a video coming out tomorrow looking at the whole Bullet Club thing. But actually, I know people are oh, this is shit, but actually, I think it's right. It's the right thing. We've been saying for years that the Bullet Club just doesn't feel right. It's been through so much. There was the issues with the War Dogs and then House of Torture. Then before that, I think as we're going into a new era post Tanahashi, there's not really a reason for the Bullet Club anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's harsh. And when I do my video, I literally go through the entire timeline, and I'm like, it might not be dead. Someone said to me, they were like, it might come back. It might come back. It's still going to be there in the presence of the Bang Bang Gang. But for now, it's not needed. And actually, if we're going to start a new thing and getting rid of Bullet Club for that, I will happily take it, because I've said this, the unaffiliated War Dogs bond is one that I've loved so much. And I would have personally flown over and punched Gato in the face if he split up Shingo and Driller. I personally would have done that.
There you go. I know you got to run, Sonal, but give us your rating out of 10. What did you give the show?
New Year's Dash?
No, Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, okay. I was like, 9.5 out of 10. Just the 0.5 is the junior match.
Okay. And what was your match of the night?
Obviously, it was Tanahashi and Okada. That was one of my favorite matches I've ever watched. Just ever.
And MVP and LVP.
MVP Tanahashi, because that man is MVP of my heart. Like, I've met him 4 times. He's one of the best wrestlers ever. LVP, whoever booked that junior match. Jesus.
Ugly. All right, let the people know where they can follow you, Sonal, so you can get on out of here.
Yeah, so you can follow me on social media at wrestling_chat. I do enjoy the live tweet here and then. I was doing it today actually while I was meant to be working. Make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe to me at Sonal's Life. I don't know if I did. When I last looked before the show, I was like 3 away from 4,000. So if you want to subscribe, please do. I've been very active recently, but like I said, I've just posted before I came on here actually my New Year's Dash review. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a video about the whole Bullet Club thing. So yeah, make sure to subscribe, because even if we've got a few weeks, a bit of a break now before the next big show, I will always be there with content.
Thank you, Sonal, as always. And of course, we will be back as we preview the new beginning in Osaka coming up in February. There's probably some other stuff that I'm forgetting that we're going to talk about as well. But thank you, as always, Sonal. Bye. All right, J-News. A couple of other quick notes that we should mention from New Year's Dash. The Ichiban Sweet Boys are your new IWGP Jr Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. There also was a 6-man tag between the previously unaffiliated War Dogs and now Unbound Company and the United Empire that was won by Andrade's side. Post-match, a big brawl broke out between Andrade and Gabe Kidd, leading to Gabe Kidd challenging Andrade to a -- contenders match for the Global Heavyweight Championship. 2 men that have held the white belt in the past. Andrade, a former Intercontinental Champion, Gabe, a former Global Heavyweight Champion. They're going to have a #1 contenders matchup at New Beginning in Osaka. Then the main event is a must-watch. The KOB, the Knockout Brothers put on an absolute probably the benchmark for best tag team match of the year was marked this morning. One of the best matches I've ever seen at a New Year's Dash. The Knockout Brothers and TMDK. Knockout Brothers getting the win, and then post-match, Tomohiro Ishii and Taiji, as well as Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura came out to challenge them, and the Knockout Brothers said that you 2 teams have to face each other and the winner gets them. But the big moment of New Year's Dash was Will Ospreay making an appearance and confronting the United Empire, this new version of United Empire. Will Ospreay says that he didn't know that leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling would leave them with this unlucky streak, and he says that right now he's not healthy, but he's on the road to recovery, and he says when he is better, he wants to come back. He has to take care of business in AEW, but he wants to come back to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he wants to help his little brother Callum Newman, and he wants to fight alongside him for this new version of the United Empire. They went to pose, they hugged each other, and then they went to pose with Callum Newman behind Will Ospreay, and it looked like Callum Newman was about to use the steel chair he was sitting in to hit Will, but Hanare and Great Okan stopped him. So this was a great angle that they did that sets up a future matchup between little brother and big brother, Will Ospreay versus Callum Newman, somewhere down the line, whether it's Forbidden Door or maybe next year's Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom 21. But very good stuff from New Year's Dash this morning. The Will Ospreay angle, though, that was kind of the big talking point outside of Bullet Club being no more. J-News, what do you think about all of this big news that came out of NJPW's Raw after WrestleMania, the New Year's Dash?
No, man, I think it's a good way to start off and set up the year. for New Japan and set some expectations for things that are going to be coming up later. I really appreciated that Will wants to do some dates once he gets back and once he gets healthy. So that's a top-notch thing. The Knockout Brothers doing the damn thing during their tag match from what I can grasp online. Like I said, I haven't watched it, so I'm gonna go back and watch it tonight. Also, post-match comments from them, specifically Yuto Ice. I said this during the preview, but he reiterated it at the end of the day. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere at the end of the day. Knockout Brothers, New Japan through and through. That's that there. I'm on one right now. Andrade versus Gabe Kidd. Give me that. Give me that at the end of the day. Yeah, man. It 2026 seems to be lining up as another banner year for pro wrestling across the board. For those of us who watch multiple companies and things of that nature. So stay tuned. Big props to New Japan Pro Wrestling for Wrestle Kingdom and New Year's Dash. Shouts to the Ichiban Sweet Boys. I mentioned it before. Kosei, Fujita, and Robbie Eagles yet again are the IWGP Jr Tag Team Champions. Hopefully they do something else more with their reign this time around. I'm not too sure what else you could do per se, but there are other junior tag teams and other Japanese companies if they want to do that. I'm not even going to go towards the AEW side of things because at the end of the day, that's going to be a Tony and Gato thing. So that's going to be up to them. In the UK specifically, also if they wanted to do things internationally, because the juniors get a lot of time off during the year. They're not on every major tournament show and house show. So it's like, so they can stay relevant across the wrestling landscape. I just want more for the juniors. That's really where I'm coming from with that. And like I said, I mentioned it before, with Tsuji bringing back version 4 of the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, that beautiful belt, which I have a 2.5-3 inch pin of. That plate it's on my travel bag that I've had it on there for years, and I never took it off because that I knew that belt had to be coming back at some point. I've always been a big proponent of the Intercontinental Championship that New Japan had. I'm not sure if Tsuji's going to want to do that, but at the end of the day, as long as version 4 is here, that's a good shout. I'm trying to see if there was anything else that they ran through.
We should mention the two big rumored departures from New Japan. Evil was reported by Fightful Select on during Wrestle Kingdom that his contract is coming up and he may be looking for options outside of NJPW. While Sonata came out on today's New Year's Dash with his guitar saying "Goodbye, New Japan Pro Wrestling. See you next fucking time." And now the rumor is that he might be looking for his options outside of New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is seeming everybody putting the connection between everybody and saying this is all of Naito's students. All of Naito's LIJ originals are leaving New Japan.
Wow. That's wow. Okay, I didn't know that about Sonata's thing. Not to say that Sonata's not necessarily a New Japan original either at the end of the day. So, but he's been with the company for such a long period of time. He's you can definitely relate Sonata to New Japan more than with his where he started out in All Japan and in all the different things he did in Japan before landing in New Japan. Wow, that's interesting, man. The Evil thing. This is another year. Evil signed a 1-year extension last year. I don't think Evil's going anywhere, to be honest.
No. I was like, we're not that lucky.
Yeah, exactly. And for all intents and purposes, on the Sonata standpoint, I think Sonata's gonna do what Syuri and some of the other wrestlers do. He's gonna and what Naito's doing. They're gonna freelance. He's gonna freelance, man. I'm not sure to what levels of popularity he can grow himself to. If he decides to make any changes, I still believe him to be a terrific in-ring wrestler, but it's always been the character, the facade of Sonata that either doesn't connect with the fan base or it does and it just doesn't go anywhere. So it's like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna continue to wrestle? I don't know at this point, So shouts to him, man. You guys know if you've been watching True Heel Heat long enough, good brother J-News was shooting with Sonata in the gym. Day one, I got off the bandwagon with this House of Torture shit. Now that he's officially gone, you know, I hope that something positive comes out of this for him in the long run. I know that he's in his late 30s or early 40s at this point, so he doesn't have too much long on the bump card, but hopefully something positive comes from him leaving New Japan, and he's able to rectify these last couple of years of whatever's going on with him and stuff like that.
But yes, we've come to the end of another review, and we got to give our ratings for the show. You guys let us know in the chat. What did you give Wrestle Kingdom 20 out of 10? Did you give the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle? Who was your MVP, your LVP, your match of the night, and your moment of the night? And of course, let us know in the comments down below if you're watching us on demand. Final call for super chat donations. But J-News, for me and you, for NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 20 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Out of 10, what did you give the show, J-News?
I'm going to side with Sonal here, man. I said that the main event and the retirement ceremony really ticked it up a bunch. I'm going to give this show a 9.5. For what it brought me. The down points of this show were evident in what I was describing. The junior match was a down point. I didn't agree with the decision of the booking decision of having Desperado win there. Another down point, not low, but down point, because I didn't know what was going on behind the scenes with the women's match with Saya losing at the end of the day, but now understanding it, it gives me a better perspective and stuff like that. I just wanted to point that out. The Ranbo was a fucking clusterfuck. So, 0.5 for all that. Ain't nobody, ain't no big thing.
I went with a 9 out of 10. I think, the Tanahashi retirement bumps this up significantly. I was probably at like an 8 to 8.5, but then, that happened, and I was like, this is a 9 out of 10 show. One of the best shows probably going to be of the entire year. Who was your MVP for the show, J-News?
Tanahashi. Tanahashi was the MVP.
Tanahashi by far. LVP for the show, I'm going to go with Gato and Jake Lee.
I just said Jake Lee in my head.
Also fair. Moment match of the night, I'm gonna go with Tanahashi versus Okada.
Match of the night, yeah, sure, yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And moment of the night, I'm gonna go with Tanahashi and Shibata chopping each other and then giving each other a hug and then crying.
Yeah, that hug is my moment of the night for sure. I didn't expect that, to see it. To feel it really through the screen was something unique for that event.
Beautiful stuff, beautiful event, and beautiful retirement for Hiroshi Tanahashi. We got one final super chat donation from Genesis J. Once again, thank you so much, brother, for all the support throughout this stream. He says Bullet Club died when Jay left, and you might just be right. It kind of did. The War Dogs were something different. They made it work, but they were kind of something different in comparison to other Bullet Club versions. But yeah, in a way, it did kind of die with Jay. But we have made it to the end of this review, and thank you so much to everyone who joined us live. Thank you to everyone who's going to watch us on demand. Remember, if you haven't already, drop the thumbs up, share this video, subscribe if you are new, because we're always here talking about all the big events and big tournaments from New Japan Pro Wrestling. J-News, let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they'll see you again.
Y'all can follow me on the socials on the Twitter machine at JohnLYFNMG. Follow me on Instagram _JONJY. Check out me and Dolores as we come back this Sunday for the Hit Bros podcast on our respective YouTube channels. And like SP3 said earlier, we'll be back sometime by the end of the month, I would say, or maybe into February, talking about New Beginning. And I will do my usual hype pieces for Fantastica Mania as it comes about, because it will be going down this year as well.
Indeed, for sure. I'll probably join you for that since I've been watching CMLL. I'm now familiar with Fantastica Mania. Check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like our best moments of 2025 video that dropped last night. You can also check out patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, and we're watching every single Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada matchup for GOAT Match Series. Me and Jimmy Macaram watching the entire Okada Tanahashi series. We started off with the Okada Shock. Season 2 of GOAT Match Series will start off with their Dominion Clash from 2012. I will be back tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, with Rated Raw Review, reviewing tonight's Monday Night Raw from Brooklyn, New York, the first Raw of 2026. And will Chris Jericho return? Check out our short where we talked about that with Jimmy Macaram. And of course, join us live tomorrow when we talk about the show, including CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. For J-News, it is me, your true heel phenom, SP3 for Sonal. This has been our NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 20 review. We are signing off until next time.